the Preds 4 points back of that last wild card spot in the West. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTM.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning to everybody except Tom Brady, apparently. If you've paid attention to any of the Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, we'll talk about that here in just a second. Speaking of Radio Row coverage, 3HL doing excellent work, as they always do. Jeff Simmons was on with them yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that. Greg Cosell will also join us in about 20 minutes from now from Radio Row, from 3HL Setup. So we'll do a little Super Bowl analysis and preview there. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to participate at any point, the F&M Bank chat is also available, where Lucas is greeted by people like Daryl, who says, new pack of M&Ms today?
No, but I do have here. You hear that?
Ooh, chicken skins.
Some Hattie B's Flock chicken skin crisps. Hot Nashville seasoned, 13 grams of protein, 190 calories.
They're delightful.
Is that what macros are?
Calories?
I hear those are good macros. 13 grams of protein, 190 calories.
I'm certain that nobody on this show is counting their macros. Although that feels like something that you would think I would do, but I definitely don't do that.
I think you're mispronouncing. It's macaroon. I don't count them. I just eat the whole sleeve.
Yeah.
Less than a gram of sugar and only 1 gram of total carbs.
Are you just going to taunt us with these chicken skins, or are you going to share with the class?
Well, hold on. He might have a live today, and I want him to do it on camera, so you just hold your sweet bibby, buddy.
It's such a good idea to take what I think is the best part of Hattie B's hot chicken, and that is the chicken skin with all that delicious seasoning, and it's crispy.
Better than the chicken?
I mean, the perfect bite to me of a Hattie B's hot chicken thigh or breast or whatever is that perfect ratio of the crispy seasoned chicken skin with the juicy actual meat of the chicken.
Well, sure.
But to take the skin and turn it into what amounts to pork rinds, but with chicken skins, it's healthier for you, has more protein. And I can't wait to snack on it right into this microphone later.
See, listen, if you really want to set it off, are they still doing salads?
Of course, yeah.
So
Southern salads,
if you really
cornbread
wanted
croutons.
to set it off with a Southern salad,
Whoa.
you get those chicken crisp, get them a little crunchy, and put them over your salad.
Sprinkle them over with the cornbread croutons.
You would think with all the Super Bowl news
Yes.
that we have to talk about, are we just hungry? Did
Well,
anybody eat breakfast? I'm so
That is
hungry
Super Bowl.
as hell.
How many folks are still wondering what they're going to pick up for their Super Bowl party? There's your answer. Hattie B's hot chicken.
Super Bowl party overrated. I don't like the Super Bowl.
It depends.
I think that's fair. I think they can be overrated in a lot of situations, especially if you are with people who are not actually interested in the football game.
Yes. I'm grateful to have a Super Bowl party where people are there to watch the football game.
I almost would prefer to watch the Super Bowl alone than watch it in a place where people are just, talking about the commercials more than they're talking about the game.
Doesn't matter.
To you?
I don't give a rip who's there. It could
Really?
be the dumbest people, could be people that never watch football. Only thing that matters is the spread. This is sports Thanksgiving. It's the only thing that matters is the spread.
Well, no. Thanksgiving is sports Thanksgiving.
No. Because, you may watch them at your house, but the sports aren't the only reason you're gathering. You have to talk to people and see your aunt, and she's going to go, "Why aren't you married yet? When are you going to give me some grandbabies?"
Reminding me why I don't do these things.
So Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. The Super Bowl is sports Thanksgiving. Wings, dips, veggie trays, fruit.
I guess there's no sporting event that really makes you gather like that, right?
The older I get, the more I love and appreciate a good Super Bowl party. In other phases of life, I appreciate staying home and being alone more than I ever used to, but I do simultaneously appreciate Super Bowl parties more because it's this confluence of food and football and friends and culture with the halftime show and the commercials and everything that comes out of that. I do greatly enjoy Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, it should be a fun and interesting Super Bowl, and hopefully you all are at the kind of Super Bowl party that you enjoy, not one where you're bothered. So, on the subject of the Super Bowl, Tom Brady is being asked. He's not calling the game. NBC has the game. Tom Brady is the lead analyst for Fox, who in the few games that I caught was improved as a broadcaster this year. I don't know if that's worth talking about, if that's something that people picked up on. Maybe it's also because Tony Romo is getting worse.
No, he was improved. And we shouldn't be that surprised that Tom Brady was able to evaluate and assess his performance and then build on it and improve on it, considering what he did for decades in the NFL.
Doubt me, will you? You think I can't speak well enough into a microphone? You fools!
Tom Brady got better at something? That's crazy. Yes, he was much improved. I thought he was legitimately good for most of the action that I saw with Tom Brady this week or this year.
So Tom Brady is not calling the Super Bowl for Fox. Tom Brady is being asked questions about the Patriots being back in the Super Bowl in a post-Tom Brady world. Understandably so. Radio Row is filled with former Patriots making the rounds, having discussions, being asked questions. Boston Sports Radio seems to be the center of the local radio universe at Radio Row, where the national shows are surrounding the pen where they keep all the dirty little, sports radio tables and things like that in a sad convention center somewhere in Super Bowl City. But Tom Brady, when he's asked about this is this his podcast, Let's Go? Also, what the hell kind of name is, Robert gives me a thumbs up. He's busy doing some technical work back there.
That's his thing. Like, let's go.
Let's effing go. He can't even,
Well, you can't.
Can't you?
It's harder to sell it.
Even effing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Tom Brady. He has an image to uphold.
Okay. He's not that worried about his image. You went from, I saw this bit yesterday on some of the clips that were making the rounds. People in Boston just killing Tom Brady for, one, not picking the Patriots, which we'll get to in a second, but also being a sellout in the opposite direction, trying to sell you, I think the host put it, a $50 bag of nuts as a part of the TB12 situation, and now all of a sudden he's doing Pizza Hut commercials when it's a little more convenient for Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's the podcast that Jim Gray hosts, the broadcaster, and he's done it with Tom for a long time. Tom has done stuff with Jim Gray for a long time.
Yes, for sure. I think the podcast is a relatively recent thing because it was like Larry Fitzgerald, Jim Gray, and Tom Brady.
Yeah,
right?
like Tom's not on every episode.
Right. Anyway, so he was on an episode this week, and the quote, when asked about his rooting interest for the Patriots, "I don't have a dog in the fight in this one. May the best team win. And in terms of the Patriots, this is a new chapter in New England, and I'm glad everyone's embraced the Mike Vrabel regime, all the amazing players that have worked so hard to get their club to this position. We did it for 20 years. There was a little bit of a hiatus in there, but the Patriots are back, and it's a very exciting time for everyone in New England." Now, that comment where he's just not picking the Patriots, and really the first line of the sentence, right? I don't have a dog in the fight in this one. Are we surprised to hear Tom Brady not calling the game? Maybe he thinks that he needs to remain objective as a broadcaster, not calling the game. But are we surprised that Tom Brady is being asked about the Patriots and saying, I don't have a dog in the fight in this one?
Maybe some overcompensation here with some of the backlash about Brady being a part owner in the NFL and an NFL broadcaster.
You think he's just a little scared of...
Maybe. I wouldn't be upset if Tom Brady was like, no, yeah, of course I'm rooting for the Patriots and my former teammate Mike Vrabel.
Would anybody take issue with Tom Brady picking the New England Patriots while not playing for the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl? I can't imagine that a single person would take real issue, if not that being the expectation. Can I hear Vince Wilfork? Robert, again, a bunch of former Patriots, Teddy Bruschi, Gronk, Julian Edelman, all of these people making the rounds at Super Bowl Radio Row, selling various things. I think Vince Wilfork was there on behalf of USO. But he did an interview with Boston Sports Radio, and they told Vince what Tom Brady had said about not picking the Patriots.
I don't have to ask. Okay, good. I mean,
Teddy got to say the same response.
Yeah,
but Tom hasn't given an opinion, and we're waiting for an opinion from Tom.
That's bull crap, Tom.
Thank you.
That's what we said.
Thank you.
Come on, Tom.
Now.
Why won't he give
all that
it?
political? This ain't political.
Yeah.
It ain't political. What it is?
Yeah.
Thank
Raiders
you.
ain't in it.
Yep.
Thank you, Vince.
That's right.
Say what it is.
Right. What you see.
Yep.
You want to come back and say, hey, I'm a Patriot for life, then you should be rooting for him.
Man, look, at the end of the day, if you're a Patriot for life, you know what it is. Don't give me that political bull crap. That's just what it is.
That's it.
That's just what if you don't think we're going to win, just pick Seattle then.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't straddle the fence.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Don't straddle the fence.
Thank you.
That's what I
Straight
said.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
No
Vince.
Okay. So Vince Wilfork, there's a lot of different versions of that. So much so where Asante Samuel is like, he's kind of borderline threatening Brady on Twitter. Have you guys seen this? Lucas.
I'll turn the mic on.
Lucas.
This is getting weird. The Asante Samuel thing is getting weird.
All right. I'm going to read you 4 tweets, okay? Asante Samuel, Tom Brady, I am highly disappointed in you not rooting for your ex-teammate Mike Vrabel, who is about to do something special. I'm going to fire your ass up one of these mornings. Tag Brady. Let him know I'm on his ass. Brady, you can't be the only one winning Super Bowls. Let me find out you hating on Drake May and Vrabel. Quote, I don't have a dog in this fight. Not what I wanted to hear. Brady knows how I get down. This ain't nothing new to him. All right, another one. Tom Brady, new name. Flaw-ass Brady. What is flaw-ass? Do we need an Urban Dictionary reading or some kind of, are we just old? That we're not hip to the new lingo? Flaw-ass?
Has flaw replaced slaw?
Maybe that's what maybe he just mistyped.
The F is 2 keys away from the S.
Okay. It's possible. Maybe it's flaw-ass Brady. I don't know. Either way, the tweet says flaw-ass Brady. One more. Tom Brady, you have 23 hours to respond. You have 23 hours to respond or it's up. I'm going ape bleep about who you are. What is Asante Samuel doing? Like, I know Boston's pissed, and I saw a bunch of clips from Boston Sports Radio yesterday saying that they've, Lucas, lost all respect for Tom Brady because he just said, I don't have a dog in the fight in this one. You think I'm an extremist?
You have 23 hours to respond
What's
or it's
going
up
on?
thing. It's like,
All right, we have received a translation from the F&M Bank chat. People are telling us it's like lame, means fake ass.
oh, okay.
Why not just call him
Learn
fake
something
ass?
new.
All right, I guess we're just getting old.
Asante Samuel's Twitter bio does say professional bleep talker.
Oh, sure.
That's all it says. So Vince Wilfork played with Tom Brady for a decade
Yep.
and is speaking out. I mean, Teddy Bruschi didn't go at Tom Brady, but in that same interview with WEEI, he said, yeah, of course I'm rooting for the Patriots.
He said, I have a dog.
You know, of course I have a big dog in the fight, is what he said. Asante Samuel played with Tom Brady for about 5 years in New England. So it is interesting, just the reaction this has prompted. I don't think, would anybody be that upset if Tom Brady
Well, that's what
said he was
Wilfork
rooting
says,
for New
right?
England?
He said it's not the Raiders.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Because obviously, as Lucas pointed out earlier, Tom Brady is a part owner in the Las Vegas Raiders, who are running a lot of their organization through Tom Brady in an advisory role at this point. So, no, I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I care if Tom Brady picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. I do think that Asante Samuel saying you have 23 hours to respond.
I hope he doesn't respond. I want to see what's up. He said, it's up. What is going to be up?
What is up, sir? 615-737-1045. Greg Cosell from Radio Row coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Speaking of the best, Greg Cosell of NFL Films is hanging out at Radio Row right now, the site of Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco. Greg, Robert tells me you're holding court, you're signing autographs and babies' foreheads and all manner of other things.
I know, I'm kissing babies. You know how it goes down here at Radio Row. You've been here before.
I have indeed, and I told Robert, you don't understand. Greg Cosell is the mayor of Radio Row. When he walks in this place, everybody pays tribute to the king. That's how it goes.
Well, it's funny you say that because, and I told this to my wife, I guess, yesterday that so many people came up to me yesterday, and it's such a weird feeling for me because what I do. I just go and I grind and I grind and I grind, and obviously I do stuff, but it's so strange. Players come up to me and they have to introduce themselves because I don't know players' faces necessarily unless they're on TV. So I got to admit, it felt pretty good, Buck,
I know it, buddy. You can hang out with Greg and I on normal occasions, Thursday mornings when we tape the install. We're doing a little bit of a live episode just because of the time change, and Greg has been kind enough to accommodate us. Go ahead, Lucas.
Well, Greg, it's certainly not the Super Bowl that most would have predicted at the start of the season. It's part of what makes it so intriguing, right? Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, Mike Vrabel and the resurgent Patriots. What to you, at first glance, was the most interesting matchup of this Super Bowl coming up on Sunday?
Lucas, I got to tell you, and again, we saw that Nick Emenwari got hurt yesterday, and at this point, I guess we don't really know what the status is, and they'll probably be pretty closed-mouth about it, certainly today. But assuming he plays, I almost look at this game, and I get a defensive feel to it more than an offensive feel. And in this era of, everything driven by the quarterback and offense, but that's the feel that I get. I mean, these are two really good defenses. There's been a lot of talk about the Seahawks defense. They're probably at the forefront of what has become a big trend in the league, which is what we call big nickel, meaning you play with 3 safeties and 2 linebackers, essentially as your base defense and your nickel defense. But the Patriots defense is really good, and it's just they don't necessarily have a lot of big-name marquee players. But, their defensive tackles, Barmore and Williams, really good. Spillane, a really good linebacker. I loved watching their 2 safeties on tape this year, and I bet, unless you're a real fan, you probably couldn't name their 2 safeties. One's a rookie, Craig Woodson, and the other is Hawkins. And they're really good players who are kind of interchangeable. I guess some people, know about the corners with Gonzalez and Davis, but I kind of look at this game and get a defensive feel. Now, you never know about turnovers, short fields. That changes everything. But, all things being equal, I would find it hard to believe that you're going to see a lot of 11, 12, 13-play touchdown drives in this game.
Well, and you look at the defenses that the Patriots have gone up against, Greg, this run of elite units that they've matched up with against Houston, against Denver in the AFC Championship, and now against Mike McDonald in Seattle. Drake May has not necessarily stolen the show in these games. It's under the snow, right, in Denver, and they've gotten by. They have found ways to win. But how impressed have you been, as he's not been a huge discussion point this week for his performance in these playoffs? Have you been impressed with Drake May and the answers he is finding against some of these elite defenses?
Well, I mean, obviously he had a terrific season. I mean, obviously the playoffs are a different animal. He played against a Houston defense that you could make the argument is the best in the league in terms of all the talent they bring to the table. Obviously the game in Denver was a little different because the weather in the second half kind of changed the entire game. But he did have a terrific year. I like a lot of things about May, but, these games are different. People try to act like it's just the Super Bowl and you do everything the same, and coaches certainly take that approach. But he's up against a really good defense as well. Now, this defense is a little different than the defenses he's just played against. So, obviously, though, there's 2 weeks to prepare. So we'll see. But it would not surprise me if he doesn't have a great game, just because of the quality of the defense he's playing against.
Greg Cosell of NFL Films here with us on 104.5 The Zone, helping us out with a little bit of a live install from Radio Row in San Francisco, where the Super Bowl will, of course, take place. Greg, you bring up this Patriots defense to flip sides on it and what Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak are going to be up against. Have there been any tendency changes from the Patriots for their regular season performance and what they've brought to the table? Because they feel like they've put all of these quarterbacks in a little bit of more of a blender than they did during the regular season this year.
And I would say it started, Buck, probably 4 or 5 weeks remaining in the regular season. They started to play more man coverage, and they do have 2 corners that are big and can play man. Gonzalez is really good, and Carlton Davis has been a really solid player in this league for years. So they've played more cover one, man coverage with a single high safety, and they've blitzed at a higher percentage. So they've increased their blitz frequency. Those are 2 things that stand out on tape. Now, whether they do that in this game, the thing about the Super Bowl, because teams have 2 weeks, so what they do is they basically bring in everybody, all their scouts, everybody, and they just grind on film more so than they can, during a regular season week. So you can make more tweaks, and you're not changing an entire philosophy necessarily, but you can do more tweaks. But that's what they've done, Buck, over the last 7-8 weeks, is more man coverage and more blitz. So will they do that? That becomes situational. I think we know what the Seahawks would like to do on offense. They would like to run the ball. They've been able to get to the edge. Now, I would you don't know, but I would think that Mike Vrabel, coming from the Bill Belichick school, that they will set the edge a lot better than some of these previous teams have, and they might not be able to get Kenneth Walker to the edge the way they would like.
How impressive has Kenneth Walker been throughout the course of the season? Understanding that to lose Charbonnet for any amount of time hurt them and kind of what they were trying to do. Kenneth Walker has still shown up in great moments, just from a trait standpoint, Greg. The way that he makes dudes miss behind the line of scrimmage, be able to get 6-7 yards out of a run, one of these dirty type of runs, like how much has he helped them get to the point where their offense is able to operate this way?
Well, I'm glad you used the word dirty, because I think he's gotten way better at that over the last 6-7 weeks. He, to me, even when I evaluated him coming out of college, and his tendency through much of his career up to this point has been to really seek the big play. When I evaluated him, and I wrote in my transition, I said he's much more of a jazz musician, improvisational runner than he is a classical pianist who follows the notes. And that's sort of the way he runs, but over the last 5-6 weeks, he's really hit it up inside and gotten the hard yards much more, the dirty yards, to use your term, which is a good term. He's gotten those much better over the last 5-6 weeks, and that's critical because, it might not seem like a big deal, but there's such a difference between 2nd and 7 and 2nd and 11. It's such a difference in the way an offensive play caller goes about the game.
Greg Cosell here with us on 104.5 The Zone. We're talking about the Super Bowl. Darnold coming off one of his best performances in his career, Greg, especially given the stakes. You mentioned the run game and how much of a complimentary, if not facilitating factor it is for Seattle. Really, before we talk about Darnold, just the theme of teams. You always want balance in the offense, but this is something that we've talked about a lot through the context of the Titans. How much teams are leaning on the ground game, the teams that have had the most amount of success throughout the course of the season, now understanding how these 2 teams want to play, that we'll see that in the Super Bowl. Do you feel like there's, I don't want to say that there's a shift because teams are always trying to be balanced, but it just feels like the ground game has come to the forefront this season for the way that these teams have advanced?
Well, I think there's 2 parts to that. Number one, I think, is the use of personnel. You're dealing with a Patriot team that plays a meaningful amount of 6 O-line personnel, not just here and there. It's part of their offense. And then, excuse me, and then with the Seahawks, they've been really good at 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, both in the run game and the pass game. So you're probably going to see a good amount of base personnel in this game. The other thing with the run game and is the play action element. And the Seahawks, they put Darnold under center. And the reason that's so important is you're trying to marry your run game looks with your pass game, because you're trying to show second-level defenders, you're trying to put them in conflict. And I think the Seahawks do a really good job of that, particularly when they get single high safety looks, because then they can get a lot of those in-breaking routes that they're really good at, that they hit Smith and Jigba on a lot. But, this is a game where you're going to see a lot of base personnel snaps on both sides.
For Darnold, just how, I mean, is it just an execution thing, Greg? That may be the highest level that we've seen Sam Darnold play in any single game in his career, again, given the stakes.
You know, the thing about Darnold, because of the early part of his career, and believe me, I remember evaluating him coming out, and I thought that, he was a work in progress. There were some things he needed to deal with, and some of those things clearly showed up early in his career. But I think people lose sight of how gifted physically he is. I mean, you're dealing with a guy, Buck. He's 6'4", 225. Both quarterbacks are, by the way. But Darnold is a big man with a really good arm and good mobility. The design boot action game, both to the right and the left, is a big part of the Seahawks offense. He can get out of the pocket and scramble. He can throw on the run. I mean, you're dealing with a guy that has really higher level physical tools. And, last year in Minnesota and certainly this year in Seattle, because of the coaching that he's gotten and the schemes that he's in, it's really come to fruition.
He is the main man, Greg Cosell, here with us on 104.5 The Zone, joining us, fortunately, from Radio Row. He will also be on 3HL later this afternoon with his regularly scheduled appearance.
Greg, we were talking about this yesterday. If the Seahawks win this game on Sunday, Mike McDonald will become the first ever defensive play-calling head coach to win a Super Bowl. Is that something?
I didn't know that.
I was going to say, how surprised are you by that, and how impressed are you by the job that McDonald has done in 2 years?
It almost plays off, Lucas, something Buck said. I feel like in the NFL this year, and this is totally anecdotal, so someone could have stats and say, well, you're wrong. So I'm just giving you anecdotal.
Twitter will, Greg.
Right, I know. Exactly. So I feel like as I've watched the NFL this year, it sort of started a bit really last year to a certain extent, but I feel like that there's been more run game and more defense this year. And again, this is anecdotal. I'm not going to sit here and recite numbers. I don't know that. I don't live in a world of numbers as much as I do in a world of film, because numbers, as you guys know, can be used to really justify almost anything you want to say. But that's the way I feel watching tape. Not that the pass game doesn't matter. I'm not going to say that. That would be silly. But I definitely feel like there's been, a little more focus on, hey, the run game's important, and that defense has sort of become, and defense is always a reaction to offense. It becomes cyclical, and then offense becomes a reaction to defense. But I think defense has become really interesting in this league with, the emphasis on big nickel, with more and more teams with pre-snap to post-snap movement. I just feel like defense has really become, something that we talk about a lot more now because it's become a lot more multiple.
We're going to have the discussion later today on the best moments in Super Bowl history. For you, Greg Cosell, what comes to mind as one of the best moments or your favorite moment in Super Bowl history?
Well, the first thing that popped into my head was Malcolm Butler's interception in that game, the Patriots and the Seahawks. So that popped into my head. But, God, I think I've been to almost every Super Bowl since 1992. So, God, I also remember the game where and you guys will remember this, where whether the Titans then or the Oilers, I can't remember.
Titans.
The Titans, when he and I forget Dyson, right? Kevin Dyson.
Kevin Dyson.
Yeah, I remember that. I was directing our ISO camera in that game, and I got lucky. I nailed a few ISOs, like I nailed Isaac Bruce's 76-yard touchdown. I ISO'd on Bruce. So that game I remember really well because I was working it. The other game that I remember well, just because it was a weather game, is I also directed the ISO camera in Miami when the Colts beat the Bears, and it was pouring the whole game. And they gave us ponchos, which worked for about an hour. And then, and I couldn't see Prince at halftime because I just had to get out of the rain because I felt like just a total wet rag, So I remember that game for reasons other than the game.
Greg, we so appreciate the time. Enjoy the week out there, and we'll look forward to your 3HL visit later this afternoon.
All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks.
That's the main man, mayor of Radio Row, Greg Cosell. Imagine directing a Super Bowl, just casually. Greg has been at every Super Bowl since anybody on this show was alive.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Oh, to miss Prince because of that is tough.
I feel like, I don't know if Greg's ever seen Prince live. Big music guy, Cosell.
I should have asked him his favorite halftime show.
You probably should have. Although that was a good question. We are going to talk about, to Lucas's point, what time are we doing that?
11:20, I believe.
11:20. We're going to talk about our favorite Super Bowl moments. Spoiler, Cosell's, the one that came to Cosell's mind first is my favorite. I think that's as jaw-dropping a Super Bowl experience. I don't know. You could probably debate the Foles thing, too. The Foles thing was absurd.
That happened relatively early in the game, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Malcolm Butler thing, like it came down to the wire, down to the last second. Like,
I just mean from top to bottom, a full 60-minute out-dueling of Tom Brady, where Brady, we can talk about this later because we can have a fun discussion, and I think the audience will want to participate in that as well. So, based on Cosell's analysis, it feels like these teams are more evenly matched from an execution standpoint than the talent level would indicate that they should be, right? That's the main takeaway, is that they're playing high-level ball on both sides. Obviously, they just got to the Super Bowl. You understand that the Patriots have had some things break in their favor more than the Seahawks have just had to. I mean, the Seahawks haven't had to, but they dominated the 49ers and then went toe-to-toe with the Rams in one of the best Sam Darnold performances I've ever seen.
Can he follow it up? That's the question.
615-737-1045 is the number. Robert, we have Joe Flacco audio you want to get to?
Oh, my. He was.
Why is he a media darling all of a sudden? He hadn't said anything interesting for 15 years. All of a sudden, he goes viral every time he speaks.
It started with his comment when he was on the Browns about raising all of these young rookie quarterbacks underneath him. I thought he gave a very poignant answer to this. His answer on this is the league going soft? Could guys nowadays play even 15 years ago? Joe Flacco has reached old man on porch stage of his life.
All right, we look forward to Joe Flacco shaking his fist at the sky coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Appreciate Greg Cosell's time as always. Don Davenport will join us from Radio Row. See, we don't really do like the big guest Super Bowl thing, but like the people that we have are always great. Why would you, we leave the heavy lifting to 3HL, but, it's always good when we can have Don. And Don doesn't come on very often.
We should have Don more.
Do we have beef? Has she been protesting us?
No, not even close, dude.
Well, me and her are probably going to get into it about something, so I don't know how long it'll be until she visits with us again.
I was kind of reminded of how often you guys get in beefs when Mark Mariani was in with them on 3HL.
It's not actual beef.
Well, if you say so.
It's not like me and Lucas.
Yeah, if you say so. I think it's more heated than you and Lucas. But Mark Mariani was on with 3HL and was like, I don't think they should get Brian Dable to be the offensive coordinator because he's too good. He's going to leave after a year. And Don was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I was just reminded of you and her's beef, and I hope that she gets a little uppercut on you like that.
I'm sure she will. She's much smarter than I am. I'm self-aware, if nothing else. 615-737-1045 is the number. So set this Joe Flacco audio up for me. What is he being asked? It's a visit with Kevin Clark, who is now at ESPN. I think the show is just called This Is Football. Have we just run out of names? And love Kevin to death, but we just out of names?
Yes.
For podcasts?
Well, apparently Hunched Over Man interviews football players wasn't a good title.
You have to stop making fun of his posture.
Yeah. Just sit up straight.
This is like when I called the new Titans defensive line coach a fatter version of Nick Holtz, and Lucas looked at me and said, you have to be around these people, right? You got a combine. Kevin's probably going to be hanging around. You're going to make fun of his posture?
I'll get him something to alleviate his back strain. A little support back
Just
there.
Just poke him in the small of his back, see if he stands up a little straighter.
Well, he poked Joe Flacco in the small of his back about comments about
what are you doing?
Is it tougher to play in the league now with all the penalties and scrutiny against defensive players? And Joe Flacco went the opposite direction.
I don't think anybody coming into the league these days is quite as battle tested as guys that came into the league 15 years ago. I think you can kind of, if you're a good high school recruit, you can kind of ride your way through college, and they're going to pick you because you have potential. Yeah. I think there was less of that 15 years ago. I think our generation does benefit from, dealing with a little bit of tougher times, just like the generation 20 years before me benefited over us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're right. I kind of came in as it was transitioning. So I still have that mindset. I don't think it should be roughing the passer when they land on us. I don't think being slapped in the head should be roughing the passer. It honestly annoys me because it affects games in a negative way at random times.
Yeah.
And they can call it or not call it. It needs to get out of the game. They need to go back to it. I know CTE is a thing these days and all that, but it's football. We signed up to play it. And I do think that the guys of my generation probably benefit a little bit from having that mindset. Because the guys that are coming into the league nowadays, they look at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean you want receivers to get laid out over the middle and you want guys to be able to land on you? I'm like, yeah, guys, that's football. There's certain things that shouldn't be penalties. And I don't think they see the side of it where it really does. These 15-yard penalties in big situations that really shouldn't be penalties in the game of football, they just they change these games. And as a fan, I just don't like it. I want it to be up to us. And getting slapped in the face should not change the game. It really shouldn't. And then on top of that, guys can't even play defense as aggressively because they're getting fined so much money for just normal hits. It's changed the game a lot.
Joe Flacco with Kevin Clark on the podcast This Is Football.
Said CTE Schmee-TE.
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
I workshopped it with Robert earlier.
So brain injuries be damned. Joe Flacco wants you to be able to smack him in the face so he can feel something. It's kind of like that John Henderson clip. Obviously the Tennessee legend who just went into College Football Hall of Fame, didn't he?
I know he went into the...
I believe he did.
Was it the College Football Hall of Fame? Or
I believe
Tennessee
that's right.
Sports Hall of Fame.
He may have gone into both, but I think he most recently went to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Anyway, as a Jaguar, smack me in the face so I can feel something. You got to bleed a little, right? That Joe Flacco is basically advocating for you to smack him around a little bit so he can get you. I think he's talking about it, though, from the perspective of a viewer, because he's sitting on the sidelines watching his defense be undermined by a slap in the head or a defensive lineman who, maybe doesn't have the best body control in the world, landing on a quarterback as they go to the ground, and all of a sudden it's roughing the passer. Like, Joe Flacco sounds like somebody who's tired of getting in these track meets because the penalties continue to extend drives, whereas the rest of the quarterbacks are looking around at him and being like, no, but that's good, Joe. And it hurts less. I'm just like, no, I need it to hurt more. I kind of love it.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. I think most football fans side with Joe Flacco on that. There's got to be some sort of middle ground between, yes, following the letter of the law, but also not giving an offense a game-changing free 15 yards and a first down because a defensive lineman's finger grazed the side of the quarterback's helmet. There's got to be somewhere in the middle there. And so I do get where Joe Flacco's coming from. But I mean, on aggregate, has the way the game is officiated been better or worse for the sport?
It's better for guys like Joe Flacco at 40, right?
Yeah.
It's honestly better, conversely, for pass rushers as they age. Like, I think evolution of the sport probably easier on linebackers, right? You're not really meeting the fullback in the A-gap anymore for the last, 8 years of football. Linebackers don't look like Ray Lewis anymore, where they're just human tanks out there blowing up run plays. And you obviously still have physical players and obviously still have excellent running backs in the NFL, but it's never been more spread out, and you've never been able to manufacture offense more by penalty. Now, though, Robert, if anybody's going to talk about penalties unfairly benefiting the offense, Joe Flacco made a living off that with Torrey Smith for a long time, pass interference down the field. Now, I know he's talking about a different level of penalty, and maybe Joe Flacco thinks one way about that versus the roughing the passer stuff. But Joe Flacco's kind of a flawed messenger here because the Ravens did do that very well.
Yeah, but it's just part of the game. I think they were taking advantage of part of the game. But, I mean, if you look at the Broncos and Bills playoff game where the pass interference on Tre'Davious White put the Broncos in position to kick the game-winning field goal. Like, things like that impact the game. Did they earn those yards? Was that play really worthy of a game-changing flag? Like, or the previous year with the the penalty on Tre'Davious White on Keon Coleman that extended the drive. Like, those things, I think that you can't call those in the moment. Like, when you get to those nitty-gritty parts of the game, you have to let them play because that's what's deciding the game. It's not about, this happened here. I am a full proponent of, in those moments, letting them play. And I keep using Ravens examples because they're top of mind, but like the Jimmy Smith hold in the end zone in the Super Bowl against the 49ers.
On Crabtree.
Was it, by the letter of the law, a hold? Yes. But it's dudes fighting. It's dudes in there brawling to get every single inch. Like, I think you should let people play in those moments.
Especially corners. Like, look at these damn receivers. They're giants. There's human pterodactyls all over the place. You got a corner out there, 5'9", 5'10", fighting for his life, running backwards, he doesn't have his eyes on the ball. It's got to, I understand that quarterback is the most important. Corner may be the most difficult position in the NFL to play, especially how quickly that athleticism can leave you and all of a sudden you're a bum. Maybe not a bum, but you understand that it's a high degree of athleticism required to run with these receivers and also be able to make spectacular plays in the air as you're crashing to the ground with a guy. You know how big Michael Crabtree is? All of them now. Like a prototypical wide receiver feels like it's 6'3".
Like when you're on an island and you see those drills at the Senior Bowl and people are like, well, it's not necessarily like that because it's not always a one-on-one. The cornerback's at a detriment in those drills. But very often, the best cornerbacks in the league are put into situations just like that. Yep. And one misstep can take you out of it. And maybe you reach and grab. Oh, that's a flag. What are you supposed to do?
I guess Flacco's going to play this year, next year.
Buddy, he didn't want to be. He sat down when they pulled him off the couch in Cleveland. He thought it was over then. This man's going to play he wants you to hit him more at 41 years old. He wants to play football. And he's going to wag his finger at you if you think football's too tough. I love Joe Flacco.
He's so inevitably going to start games this coming season for somebody.
Well, don't say
Rivers
that.
just started games this season. Flacco's going to play as long as he wants.
I want him to be the backup here so bad.
Here?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That's why I hate Lucas just said he's inevitably going to play, because when I say Joe Flacco should be the backup in Tennessee, because who is better at being the mentor without being the mentor? You know what I mean? Showing them how to prepare, but also staying on somebody's ass. Like, if you mess up, I'm going to do it right.
Who's the
Flacco's
backup?
going to come in and throw for 400 yards with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Who's Dart's backup? Who was it this past year when he was hurt?
Jameis. Yeah.
Jameis.
Okay. I'm not sure if Jameis is under contract in New York for another year.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Okay. Maybe Flacco Harbaugh reunion.
If you make me pick, well, I just meant if you made me pick Titans backups, I think I need Jameis. I need Jameis like I need air. Are you kidding me? I don't think I talked to I did not say words, and this is a bad job out of me, but I did not say words to Brandon Allen until the Jacksonville game when Cam got hurt. I'd never talked to that human being in my life. I would talk to Jameis every day if you would let me.
I wonder what the NFL record is for the most teams. How many teams has Joe Flacco started games for?
Jets,
Baltimore, Denver.
Eagles, Broncos, Ravens, Colts.
Several. So I wonder what the record is.
Bengals, Browns.
The record, I believe,
Fitzpatrick.
I think it's played or started.
Oh, I don't know. About.
Johnson has the record for
the amount of teams one quarterback has started games
It
for.
has to be Fitzpatrick. It has to be. It's like 14. It's damn near half the league.
Yeah, Flacco has 7, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. 615.
Oh, you're right. Dadgummit. I was
Fitzpatrick?
hoping you were wrong. Yes, it would be Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just so outrageous how many. Is it 14?
9 that he has started
Okay.
for.
So Flacco could nab his 8th in 2026.
Well, he's played for longer than Fitzpatrick already, hadn't he? Isn't Joe Flacco older? They may be the same age. Anyway, Don Davenport next.
It is 11:02. Good morning from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. As we approach Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, the first injury report of the week came out on Wednesday. Patriots quarterback Drake May, a full participant in practice with the right shoulder. Edge rusher Harold Landry, the former Titan, was limited with a knee. For Seattle, quarterback Sam Darnold was limited with an oblique injury, and safety Nick Emenwari was listed as limited after injuring his ankle in practice. The Nashville Predators fell in an overtime thriller at Bridgestone Arena, 6-5 the final against the Wild, grabbing 1 point after trailing 2-0 early. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A lot of people bet on Super Bowl props, but I'm going to make a show prop real quick as Dawn Davenport gets ready to join us from Super Bowl 60 Radio Row, where 3HL is broadcasting all week long. They had Jeff Simmons yesterday. They got a bunch of fun guests today. Over under, Dawn Davenport. How many questions in before you and me pick something to fight about?
I'll set the over-under at 2. And I'll go under.
And I think that counted as my first question, so we're already towing a line.
We're already there.
Thanks
Already.
for hopping on. Great to
Absolutely.
have you.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about, have you been boycotting us? I feel like you never come on our radio show.
Because I don't like you, Buck. I mean, let's be honest.
Neither do they, but they're stuck with me. You know, what are they going to do?
I'm kidding. For everybody listening, I do love Buck.
That's true. Me and Dawn have a great relationship. I was very disappointed.
He's just a diva. That's all.
Amen. I was very upset that I missed you and Travis at the national championship game.
Dude, we tried like 8 times during halftime, pregame, postgame, all of it. Never saw you. It was crazy, though. Wasn't it wild?
So cool. So cool.
It was so cool.
Nobody deserved that more than Travis. I mean, Lucas and I were talking about that. Because, like, Don, he actually cares about Indiana football. I've never met one of those in my life.
I know. And, like, always has. Even when they were bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Yeah, it was kind of cool to watch him, too. I mean, like, granted, we perhaps had been drinking since, like, 7 a.m. that morning.
You got started so much earlier than me.
So early.
You
And
didn't
it was
try
a
that
terrible
hard to find me,
choice.
Davenport, all right? You guys were sloshed. There's no chance.
Absolutely sloshed. I mean, I was drinking Jack Daniels at the game.
Buh.
By that point, which was a terrible idea as well. But hey, shout out to Jack Daniels in Tennessee. Anyway, but it was cool to watch my husband because it was like emotional for him, you know, like he is just the epitome of a fan. Like whenever I need, okay, what is irrational, crazy Titans fan thinking? I just talk to my husband because he is that, right? And so to see him like so excited about that and like get a little emotional about watching his team win a national championship is pretty cool. Unlike you, who that was only your second ever Indiana football game. A playoff game and a national championship win. You are such a jerk.
I think I'm doing that right. I think I'm doing it much better than Travis as far as I'm concerned. Dawn Davenport, 3HL, here with us on 104.5 The Zone.
So, as we move on from Buck's grifting off of his alma mater's football success, Don, you guys got to sit down with Jeffery Simmons yesterday. That video is up on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page where folks can like it and subscribe. Hit on a lot of things, including Jeff's long-term goals as a Tennessee Titan. What was your biggest takeaway? Was it what Jeffrey wants with the number 4 overall pick for the Titans?
That would be Ruben Bain, and he did not even hesitate. It took him like less than half a millisecond to answer my question, which is funny. He cracks me up, though. Like, over the last couple of years, every time I talk to him, he's always like, they got to get me some help. They got to get me some help. Like, we need to draft a defensive guy high. You know, I mean, what every single defensive guy would say. But my biggest takeaway was, he was so open and honest, and B, the maturity that he has found this this offseason into this year is just unbelievable. I mean, he told a story, and if you didn't listen to it, you need to go listen to it. Told a story about how he's driving to Dallas after the offseason and didn't play a single thing on the radio. No music, no nothing. 9 hours, just sat there staring at like windshield time, right? And just was like over and over in his head being like, I'm not where I need to be, and what do I need to do to take the next step? Like, I'm fine, but I haven't taken the next step, you know? And just to hear him tell that story and then to follow it up with, because I've talked to him a million times this year just about the offseason and how he changed things. And he was like, yeah, he said, you know, we can sit here and say diet. Like, I've changed my diet. I've changed. He was like, but that's not it. It's a lifestyle change. You know, it's the no drinking. It's the diet. It's the circle, the inner circle. He was like, I eliminated the people, the negativity in my inner circle around me, just for every single level to be able to get and be the best that he can be as a person, a football player, all of that. And it just struck me the maturity of him and how much it's paying off. And then the other thing that struck me is, yes, at the end, you know, he's like, yeah, I want to be a Titan forever, whatever. No, he said that, but he's also said, like, I need help. We need to fix this roster, you know, whatever. He's also said things like that. And I think it was dicey last year as far as if he wanted to be here forever. Like, I know he wants to, but I felt zero hesitation. I think he loves the hire. He talked about how many players have reached out, DMs, text about Saleh, about Gus Bradley as a DC even. And so I think he's very happy with the direction the franchise is going. And so now he's like, okay, love Borgonzi. We're going to get it right. And I want to be here for the rest of my career. Let's go play for a Super Bowl.
Well,
you know?
and it's good context from you, Dawn, because I talked about this a little bit during the course of the season. You mentioned the maturity, the openness, just how comfortable he is at this point.
Way more comfortable than he ever has been sitting and chatting with us.
100%. And like, even just dealing with him this year, and obviously me and him have gotten into it, and I've been critical of how things go. You know, I mean, it's just what it is.
Yes.
But like, after the fact, Dawn, and it's not just because of other people having criticism, because I don't think it was an uncommon refrain. I think Titans fans were talking about trading Jeff. I think there's been a lot of different discussion about his availability.
I never did, for the record, but yes.
Fair enough. A lot of different conversation about his availability prior to this year, after he got the big contract. And like, at some point, Dawn, I just was looking around. I was like, he has literally been everything that you could ask him to be, and given more. The circumstance and how much more equipped he seems to be able to handle this situation, because how awful it's been. You'd hate for him to have to go through this to gain that emotional maturity, because it's awful. It's awful for everybody. You've been around bad locker rooms before. I've obviously covered a couple here in the last couple of years. Like this, it is just a life drainer out of you. And he seems to have legitimately taken the steps to be able to handle this, and for that to bleed through him to the rest of the locker room in a way that they're going to need with all these young dudes.
You know what? Slay brought it up too, even just like his maturity. I feel so much better with him as a leader just after having that conversation. But
Correct.
Slay brought it up too. You watch the video at the Pro Bowl, right? Like, Big Jeff's always been a guy, right? But it just looked different with how other players reacted to him. Like, he was the guy. Everybody's flocking to him. He commands the space. You know what I mean? That looked different than prior. So I feel good about it, and there were no qualms. Reuben Bain Jr., let's go.
Check the interview out on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page. You can also, I'm sure you are by now, but you should subscribe to 3HL's podcast, where you can get all of their great Super Bowl interviews. They do an awesome job with this at this time of year.
I feel like the part that we kind of skated over there was the fact that Jeffery Simmons drove 9 hours in silence.
Right?
That's insanity. Dixie,
like,
on
to
the
me, that is psycho.
Dixie
like,
says
I can't.
on YouTube, who needs ayahuasca and a darkness retreat when you could just drive 9 hours in silence?
He's like, I realized halfway through, like, I played zero music. I was listening to nothing. I was just in my thoughts. I'm like, good Lord, no thank you. Also, I'm never driving 9 hours. Put me on a plane.
No, that's what are you driving 9 hours anywhere for? God.
So he could have his car, I'm sure, in the off season, because that's where he goes to train. And yes, Sweat's going. And I don't know if y'all heard the part where he was like, I said, well, is Sweat excited, to like partner with you, basically. You're taking him under his wing. You're trying to pull him along, and he needs this, you know? And he was like, yeah, he was actually annoying. Like, he kept texting me, I'm out to dinner with my girl, and he's texting me. I didn't answer that phone. So then he texts my other phone and is, you know, hey, where do I need to go? What do I do here? You know? So I think it's going to be fun to watch and see what happens with that, you know?
Don, kind of pivoting a little bit here. This is not Super Bowl related, but some of the biggest news this week has come from not just the Joey Aguilar case, but the Charles Bediako case and the Trinidad Chambliss case, as all three are seeking legal recourse in their local courts to try and remain eligible this year or next year or whatever it might be. With the news that we learned yesterday about Joey Aguilar, I'm curious for you, as somebody that obviously covers college football as closely as you do, are you torn at all? Do you believe every case is different? Do you think that this is a blanket thing that is wrong with college football? Where are you falling on everything that's happening here as Joey Aguilar pursues another year of college football?
I do think every case is different, but I'm done with it. I'm done. Like, what are we doing? I'm over it. You don't need to be in college for 6-7 years. 6-7. I need.
Damn it,
I need
stop.
it.
It's dead.
It.
No,
keep it
it
going.
is not dead. It will never be dead.
I'll never stop
listen,
doing it.
Let me tell you where it wasn't dead, Buck. At about 5 a.m. at the casino at the blackjack table, when I needed a 6 or a 7 to hit my 21 when I was hitting, did I get up from my chair every time and do that with the entire casino looking at me?
Sorry,
yes,
what time? What time did you say?
That would be 5 a.m.
That's right. You don't
and did I
understand what
get
these
it?
people do on these road trips. It's a disaster. I did one, and I was like, I can't live this way. You guys are freaks.
Hey, Slay, did I not hit it every time I did it?
Slay?
Absolutely. The funny part is, with Pan Buck. How you doing, Buck?
I'm great, buddy.
to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
I got to bring my boy in.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And Pan is over there asking great questions. And
He is. You know, like
Yeah.
he's a professional and
Yeah.
doesn't screw things up or something.
Exactly, sitting there on that little cushion of his and
Yeah.
and scathing. Speaking about scathing over 9 hours of
Did you
driving
get
and
a
all of
chair
this.
seat to be as tall as I am? Is that what you're
Dude,
doing? A little cushion you have over there?
It's
That's
built
exactly
in.
what he's doing. It's
God
built-in
gave it to
cushion.
me.
Oh, he's talking about his ass.
Yeah.
It's
What do you
funny
think he's talking about?
It's funny though that Pan,
still
you're so
has a
professional and you're spilling things that don't belong to you for one, and second, you're not replacing them, Pan. Every time somebody does good around you, Pan, you just let it go to Shiano.
You
And
don't
that is
know.
that is a problem. My guy Robert told me, my guy Buck told me, and now I'm starting to think you are out here moonlighting as a friend of mine. You're really not, Pan. This is not going to work. You idiot.
You don't know, Slay. You don't know that there's not going to be a big old bucket of M&Ms
I don't
waiting
want
for you
them.
when
I
you
don't
get
want
back?
any other M&Ms. I wanted my M&Ms. They're my M&Ms,
What
Pan,
did I
that I
do?
wanted to share with everybody.
What did I and you did, and that was very gracious of you. Now, what I did is I
No, not
picked
by
up.
choice, by the way. You just
How did
wait
this
till he's
happen?
not here, and then you start pilfering
Exactly,
his snacks.
Buck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
You gotta go
need it.
sneak. Every time you
Nobody
try to
would blame you for putting
Exactly.
rat poison into these damn, like, actual rat poison to poison the rats that are in here eating all of your snacks. You would get both of them so easily, Slay. You have no idea. I mean, I'm sure you do.
But it's
deal
only
with
one
tasting
I'm
all
after.
these
It's
things.
already
only
did.
one. It's only one. It's Master Splinter. Right there. It's only
The
one
biggest
that I'm
rat
after.
of them all. I've been telling people for years he's a rat. Nobody listens.
I'm the one that got ratted out in this situation, and
As you should
How,
have.
I need the description. How does this even happen? Like
Man,
you
explain.
put your grubby hand in and grab a handful, right?
Definitely.
I will happily tell you how it happened, Don.
Man, it's
So
definitely grubby.
Grubby hands.
Oh, who are you laughing at?
Hey, you eat those peanut M&Ms too,
You got
buddy.
grubby everything.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing. This is a dangerous game we play where we try to rat out each other, not knowing or just ignoring the fact that the people doing the ratting are just as guilty. Because what I did, foolishly I admit, is grab the container by the top. I lifted it up by the top, and whoever put their grubby little hands in there before me, Buck, did not screw the top back on, just set it back on. So as I picked it up, Slay, M&M's scattered
correct.
everywhere.
That's called laying a trap. That's called laying a trap.
Accountability. Robert Saleh would not be happy with you right now. There is zero accountability here, Pan.
Listen,
it's somebody else's fault.
This is not fast and violent the way you're playing right now.
That zero accountability is the only thing we've got going for us.
It's a very large theme of the show.
It's the theme of the show that somehow continues to remain on the air. So we're going to keep it up. Congrats to number 4, by the way.
Well done. 3HL coming in.
Bunk.
I know. Robert's trying to get us to feel something about finishing third yesterday, and I just wanted to shake and be like, I don't care about third.
Exactly. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, it's bunk.
We keep that energy. 3HL is doing first place work out there at Radio Row. You can hear them all throughout the course of the week. Who you got on today?
Lots of people.
Give me the best one. Give me the best one.
Okay.
I heard Lewis Riddick's on the show today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do I know your lineup better than you do?
Lorenzo Neal.
Oh,
Neal. Titans fans will love that, right?
He's such a good,
how many
such a
years
good
did
interview
he actually
too.
play with the Titans? He was only with the Titans for 2 years.
1 or 2.
And it feels like he was like a decade Titan, right? We've got him, Sam Brockis, Cosell. At some point, we'll have Lindsey Rhodes from Sumer Sports into the analytics, Ryan Leaf. And Lewis Riddick is one of my absolute favorites, by the way, because he'll be a GM in a couple years, right? Somewhere. Somebody will give him a chance to be a GM. And then all of us watching college football will be lesser for it because I think he's one of the best analysts that ESPN has. But so I'm excited about that one, too.
We got Hendon Hooker also and Joe Milton. Hopefully they run into
How
each
about
other.
that? The former Vols.
Yep.
You're gonna have one replace the other, make a coming off the bench joke type of situation.
They literally are coming back to back.
Yeah. Who's first?
Joe Milton.
Everything comes full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle on 3HL. All right. Love you guys. Have a great and safe trip out there. We appreciate all the good work that you're doing, and we'll look forward to seeing you when you get back home.
All right, boys. Pan the man.
Pan, get your cushion under control.
Yep.
Better
fix it.
It's way past. There's past the point of no return.
Your cushion is romping just everywhere. It's out of control.
It's knocking over coffee cups. I can't do anything about it.
We did the Kim Kardashian shelf test with him the other day. Turns out.
God.
Jesus has taken the wheel with this thing. My hands are up.
See you,
Love you,
boys.
Slay. Love you, Dawn.
Love you, Bert.
Hey, I love
See
you.
ya.
Nothing from Dawn. She said, eat it, you nerd. Get away from me. All right, very good. 3HL doing jam-packed and loaded shows all Super Bowl long. All right, so what do we want to do here? The best moments in Super Bowl history?
Yes.
That's next. Welcome back to the show. Oh, you got to turn this up. It's so good. How bad does this look on the stream with us just bopping around to music they can't hear? So speaking of the best, it is Super Bowl 60. And, shockingly enough, this feels like a very common sports radio segment. We don't do a lot of those. I mean, we get in the list and stuff like that, but we don't do standard sports radio that often, right? I feel like a list or picking our favorite Super Bowl moments of all time is as close to traditional sports radio as we get on a regular basis. But that's what you want to do today, yeah?
I just think there's so many of them. The best Super Bowl moment can mean so many things to so many different people.
Sure.
Especially where you were, what you were watching, who you were with, all that kind of stuff. And a number of them come to mind. I didn't know if something was top of the mind for you guys, that maybe we can revise this once we have a number of submissions. And if you'd like to get your submission in, 615-737-1045. Sure. We'd love to hear from you.
So, somebody said, get the licensing so we can hear the music. You're going to extra, $1.5 million lying around for Simply the Best.
We just buy Tina Turner's catalog. We can only bump back with Tina Turner songs.
Just walk across the street.
Could do worse.
Just walk across the street to BMI and Warner's with Robert and his piggy bank. You're like, I have $54.30 in change.
Yeah, one of them is a wheat penny.
What can that buy me? About 10 seconds of Simply the Best.
Simply the...
Yeah. So, I'm going to start with one that Lucas asked this question to Cosell when he was on with us about an hour ago. And to me, I don't feel like this is recency bias because it's almost, it's more than a decade ago, right? Seahawks, Patriots, Part 1, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Malcolm Butler, Marshawn Lynch, the goal line. If you talk or if you see interviews with Richard Sherman, Marshawn Lynch. Didn't Marshawn just do something with Bill Maher, I think, the other day, which is the crossover that America needs at this point in time? Just delightful.
He's so good. Have you seen any of the, you don't get to watch games a lot, but have you ever seen the Marshawn Lynch in Yo City segments?
Because Amazon does it,
They're
right?
so
I see more Thursday
good.
Night Football than I do anything else just because of what Sundays look like. But Marshawn's excellent. Anyway. Anytime you see one of these guys interviewed and asked about this moment, on the Seahawks side of things, it's still almost a level, Lucas, of them being stunned by the idea that Pete Carroll would not run the ball in that situation. Because they're trailing 28-24. It's almost 59 minutes of game time off the clock. Seahawks are on New England's 1 yard line. Clock is ticking down. Bill Belichick is not calling a timeout, even though the broadcasters keep saying, well, the Patriots aren't taking a timeout here. The broadcast is actively amping up the intensity of the moment by saying that the expectation would be that Bill would take the timeout here. And instead, Belichick does one of the most nefarious things to Pete Carroll I've ever seen one coach do to another in game, which is just letting him kind of bleed out on the opposite sideline, watching Pete Carroll kind of frantically running about and trying to get everybody organized. And what the hell is Bill Belichick doing in this particular moment? So Belichick just doesn't take the timeout, which forces Seattle to the line with a level of urgency that they would not have had to have. Gets into their heads about the situation. Marshawn Lynch is on the field. Universally, every one of us think that Marshawn is getting the ball in that moment. There is no question in anybody's minds that Marshawn, who's a better power back in that era of football than Marshawn Lynch? Maybe Steven Jackson? They're probably neck and neck.
No, come on. I'm talking about beast mode here.
No, I know. I'm just saying, Steven Jackson was Brandon Jacobs. There's some giant human beings playing running back in that era. Anyway, Marshawn is there. They've got all 3 downs at their disposal, which is the thing that makes it even more insane. And instead, 26 seconds remaining, their second Super Bowl championship on the line. Russell Wilson looking for, what was his name? Lockett? What was Lockett's first name? No, it's not Lockett.
Not Tyler Lockett.
Was it Doug Baldwin, maybe?
What was the other one? Who was the third wide receiver?
Baldwin.
No, Doug Baldwin. who's
Richardson.
Paul, it was one of eight, an obscure Seattle wide receiver, okay? Instead, Malcolm Butler jumps the route, interception. That's as visceral a moment as I can remember in Super Bowl history, standing up and screaming, "What?" at my television. Yeah, it's my favorite Super Bowl memory of all time.
Ricardo Lockett.
Wow. How about that? Lockett spelled differently, right?
Correct.
Doesn't he have an E?
Correct.
He has an E on the Lockett.
Definitely the most controversial play call.
Lockett.
Most controversial coaching decision in Super Bowl history, without a doubt. The shot of Richard Sherman and his reaction, one of the most iconic shots, sideline shots, certainly in Super Bowl history. Yeah, that's up there. I don't know why I always come back to, if we're talking about games, that Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl that the Steelers won, the Santonio Holmes catch to cap that drive, the James Harrison pick six.
That's probably like one of the end of the first Super Bowl memories, right? I imagine that's why it stands out more, because it was a crazy game.
Definitely early in my Super Bowl, bank of memories. But that Santonio Holmes catch always stands out to me, and just what that game was from start to finish, just an absolute thriller. Kurt Warner versus Ben Roethlisberger, Santonio Holmes with Larry Fitzgerald on the other side. Just unbelievable. But, yeah, the finality of that moment, that one play deciding the game, and it going completely, talking about the Seahawks interception, or the Patriots interception, and that going completely against, because you're watching that Steelers drive, and obviously the possibility of them scoring a touchdown and winning the game is what everybody's thinking about. Nobody is thinking about the possibility of Russell Wilson throwing an interception on the 1 yard line in that moment. Where was that Super Bowl?
Miami? I don't know, actually. The Manning, the one the year before was at MetLife, because they got so lucky with the elements that it was not a factor in the game. It was weirdly warm in East Rutherford that time of year. I can't remember where the next year's Super Bowl was.
See, you noted controversial calls, and that is a controversial call because it did not work out. This is not. I'm struggling with this because I think this is the ballsiest move that's ever happened in Super Bowl history. It's halftime. The Saints are down by 4. It's 10-6 against the Colts. And Sean Payton, from the beginning of the game, told referees, we are going to do an onside kick coming out of the half. He's making sure it's all buttoned up. The cojones it takes to come out there and steal a possession at the top of the second half. The onside kick by the Saints, that has got to be, it's probably not my best moment, but that is one of the gutsiest calls in not just Super Bowl, in football history. Because if that goes wrong, what happens? You're already down 4. They go down and score a touchdown. Even a field goal, you're down 7 now. It's a totally different game than being a inside one-score game. So I would go with that, or, selfishly, the Jacoby Jones kickoff return after the lights went out in the playoffs.
It's sick.
It's
objectively sick.
They had sat there. It's 40 minutes. Everyone's cold. And there's an NFL Films cut of this that's really good where Jacoby Jones is just doing high knees, does not stop moving. And if you're familiar with his personality, that's kind of how he is as a person, too.
Was.
Was. R.I.P. Yeah. R.I.P. Jacoby Jones. But just comes out, and I believe that's still the longest kickoff return for a touchdown in Super Bowl history.
It's got to be up there.
He took that from the ass end of the end zone. His heel was almost on the white line in the back of the end zone. Dude just takes it all the way back, and that was just super cool. A game-changing moment.
Would you like to hear the top 5? Sports Illustrated went ahead and polled a bunch of NFL media members about their favorite moments in Super Bowl history, the 60 greatest moments in Super Bowl history for Super Bowl 60, cataloged by, they've got a variety of different people on here. They've got Amy Trask, they've got Aaron Schatz, they've got our buddy, that's not, that's a different Wolf, Colleen Wolf, not Cameron Wolf, of the NFL Network.
Can we try to guess the 5 before you give them to us?
Sure.
Where's Helmet Catch?
Yeah, that was my number 1.
Helmet Catch is 2.
Okay.
2.
So is the pick 6 Steelers Cardinals on there?
The pick 6 is not in the top 5.
Is the Butler interception?
The Butler interception is number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Philly special?
Philly special is 5.
Yeah. Man, so many of these that it just happened in the last,
it's probably
15 years.
28-3 comeback's got to be on there.
That's 4. I don't think you'll get number 3.
Will give us an era.
Is it Dyson, 1 yard short?
No.
The Elway.
Is it the
what would you like? What is an era? You want like a decade?
Sure.
The 60s.
Is that what's his name guaranteeing they're going to win?
Namath.
It's Joe Namath because jogging off the field with the number one in the air, the last Jets moment of glory that anybody can remember until like Mark Sanchez in a couple of AFC championship games. Joe Namath in 1969.
Was it Colleen Wolfe he was on the sideline with that one time where he was, I want to kiss you.
Susie Colbert.
Oh, he was Susie Colbert.
in his fur jacket.
Yeah.
He was so licked.
I think he said he was going to stop drinking after that.
I don't believe he has.
Where is 1 yard short in that list?
1 yard short. Let's see. I'm scrolling. The tackle. So it's called the tackle.
Yeah.
It's not 1 yard short. Number 13.
Yeah.
Not a great moment for Titans fans, but obviously for Rams fans and for football fans in general, just the absurdity of the 1 yard short moment. All right, 615-737-1045. If you have a submission, Sterling is in Gallatin.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yep.
And just let me know where this falls on the list. January 31st, 1988, when at the end of the first quarter, when Doug Williams got hurt, everyone thought that he wasn't going to get back out. And I think Jay Schrader was the quarterback backup. He was on the sideline warming up, and then going into the second quarter, the biggest turnaround ever. In Super Bowl history. I think they scored like 35 points in that quarter.
Yeah, they ended up winning 42-10. It comes in at number 9, according to this poll, right behind the James Harrison 100-yard return interception. Thank you for the call.
Doug Williams, first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Correct. They were down 10-0 and then won 42-10. Absurd. Do you think Falcons fans feel bad? I mean, Falcons fans do feel bad perpetually. I think of them as one of the most cursed fan bases. I know the Jets win just on sheer volume of misery, but
yeah, they've had some crazy Super Bowl memories. That's obviously 28-3, but John Elway's, I can't remember if it's his first or second Super Bowl that came against a Falcons team that was led by, so many people are going to be so mad at me. Dan, what's the name of the damn head coach at the beginning of Elway's career that benched him and ended up being the head coach of the Falcons when the Broncos got over that hump?
Reeves.
Yeah. They've had some heart-wrenching Super Bowl moments. But it can't be more tortured than the Bills, though.
Yeah, four consecutive Super Bowls, winning none.
Unfathomable level of pain.
Just imagine a team being in the Super Bowl 4 years in a row just to lose in the modern era.
No, I can't even begin to wrap my head around that kind of pain for a fan base.
Mary Claire is in Bellevue.
Hey there, can you hear me?
I sure can.
All right, my favorite Super Bowl moment. I bet against Tom Brady for the Seahawks. I bet against Tom Brady when the Patriots played the Jags in, I believe, the AFC Championship a couple years ago, which is weird. I bet against Tom Brady against the Falcons, and the year that I swore I would never bet against Tom Brady again, they played the Eagles. And I have a friend who is a massive Patriots fan, and he wanted somebody to place a bet with him. So I said, I'll take $5 on the Eagles.
Crazy.
Fly, Eagles, fly. They won that game. Nick Foles.
That's honestly, on like Super Bowls in my lifetime, that's probably second, just because of the absurdity of what Nick Foles did in that game. I mean, just outrageous. Going toe-to-toe. How many yards did Brady end up throwing for in that game? It was damn near 500. He was definitely north of 4. And the fact that Nick Foles outdid him and the Philly special on top of it, just one of the most ridiculous games in NFL history. So, We are going to have Nate Washington join us. Nate's been in a couple of Super Bowls himself. We can ask Nate. I'm sure he has more individual memories to reflect on than most people would, but we will have Nate Washington later in the show, as is the custom. 12:20 is when he will join us. How much would you want to talk about this eligibility issue? We had it scheduled for earlier, and then we flip-flopped with Dawn.
There's been some developments on that end.
All right. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. So we've been talking about a lot of legal issues in the world of college sports because a lot of people are trying to test the waters, figure out what they can and can do within the confines, the lack of structure that the NCAA has allowed for. But one such situation that will at least have to go through another legal hurdle will be Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback who helped get them to the college football playoff this year. The NCAA has denied Ole Miss's appeal for Trinidad Chambliss's sixth-year eligibility waiver, which the school confirmed to Pete Thamel of ESPN on Wednesday. So now he is going to have to find ways to try and subvert the NCAA's ruling on their eligibility subcommittee. That's where the denial came from. Now he will have to pursue his eligibility recourse through the legal system and try and advance his case there. We've obviously seen a couple of different examples with variations, right? We just went through this with Darian Mensah, who ultimately did get his situation granted, but had to buy himself out of his eligibility for Duke to then move forward with Miami in the transfer portal. That was one of the terms of his release, essentially, from the deal that he had agreed to.
Yeah, but that wasn't an eligibility thing in that he's looking for, like, that was straight
transfer portal.
Yeah, that was a big mess about a contract that he signed with Duke that Duke was trying to make him honor. Right. This is Chambliss looking for another year, basically arguing that in 2022 at Ferris State, he, quote, this is from the Ole Miss statement, did not dress for a single game while suffering from severe incapacitating medical condition. So he's arguing for a medical hardship. He had already redshirted a year at Ferris State and is trying to get another year for medical hardship for the 2022 season where he did not play and says he was dealing with all sorts of things. So they are going to continue to fight that in court as they have filed for an injunction, even though the NCAA has denied their appeal. So his fight is not over as he looks to continue playing at the college level. There has been a development, as we know Joey Aguilar's situation. Adam Sparks laid it out for us yesterday. He is fighting for another year of eligibility, basically saying he played 2 JUCO years and they shouldn't count against his NCAA eligibility. He's only played 3 years at the NCAA level. Currently, that hearing for Aguilar is scheduled for tomorrow, but it sounds like it's going to happen next Friday. I was texting with Adam Sparks this morning. He said he expects it to be next Friday, although that hasn't officially happened yet. Meanwhile, Alabama Center Charles Bediako has an injunction hearing that will remain tomorrow. His attorneys had filed for a postponement. Now, this hearing has already been postponed due to the winter weather that swept through the Southeast. They tried to postpone it again, did not happen. He will have this hearing tomorrow. But suddenly, Tennessee gets involved in this in another way because Tennessee sophomore guard Ethan Berg has been named in the Charles Bediako lawsuit because Alabama is claiming that Berg, for those who don't know, is a 23-year-old sophomore at Tennessee, is from Israel, grew up in Israel, and actually played professionally in Israel in the Israeli Basketball Super League, the ISBL, played 2 seasons there, tallied 11 points per game, and then decided to come play college basketball in America and to go to Tennessee. And Alabama is saying, well, hang on. If players like Ethan Berg can play professionally overseas and then come and be eligible at the college level in the U.S., why is it an issue for Charles Bediako to do so, even though he did play at Alabama, then go pro, and now wants to come back to Alabama to finish out the course of his eligibility? Does that carry water to anybody?
I understand the logic. Like, I definitely understand exploring that as a path to try and, broaden the opportunities that you can have, right? Because it just opens up the door to more if you're one of these athletic departments.
I'm fascinated to see how this goes. Adam, who has been all over this on Knox News, has done more reporting on the attorney that is one of the attorneys representing the NCAA in this situation, named Taylor Askew, who is a University of Tennessee law graduate, a Knoxville native that went to web school in Knoxville, also represented the NCAA when it was trying to take away eligibility from Nico Iamaleava, and is representing the NCAA in both the Joey Aguilar situation, and the Charles Bediako situation. So he is a very common denominator in all of this, as Taylor Askew, who is 37, played college football at Tennessee Tech, where he did undergrad and then got his law degree from Tennessee, is going up against his hometown university and the place where he got his law degree for the second time to go up against Joey Aguilar in this situation. So this is just fascinating. You've got Tennessee going to a local court with a Knox County judge that is a graduate of the university, trying to get some benefits from that, while going up against an attorney representing the NCAA that is also a graduate, a law school graduate of UT, and a Knoxville born and raised native. So it's just
absurd.
It's just like incestuous all over the place. I mean, it's insane.
It's what it's always been, but now it's playing out in court in front of all of us, right?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if this pays off for Alabama. I have a hard time trying to gauge how much does this carry water, this argument from Alabama. I don't know how much legal recourse would the NCAA have to say, well, the Israeli Basketball League is very different from declaring for the NBA draft after playing. I don't know how that translates.
Slippery slope.
I don't know how that translates in the court of law. My question is, how far is too far? Because we never imagined.
There is no too far.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When NIL started a few years ago, none of us would have ever imagined that fast forwarding only 5 years or whatever it's been, 6 years, that you'd have players like Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech have a clause in his contract where he can privately fly like 8 family members to every game, things like that.
Oh, did we read that thing from Pete Nakos's reporting about him just talking to people around the world of college athletics and college sports about the list of demands? I think Robert sent it to the Twitter group. The list of demands that a college football program general manager had received from a kid, including sideline passes for agents.
Here it is.
Home and liability insurance, things like this.
A Big Ten general manager said, we had a kid ask for a signing bonus, flight stipend, jersey number choice guaranteed, insurance policy, loss of home and disability, vehicle stipend, stipend for rental house, award campaign push, preferred walk-on spot, tickets to home and away games and field passes for agents. A Big Ten GM said to On3 Sports. So we didn't think it would get this far with NIL. So how much further is this going to get in these fights for eligibility, especially if this goes favorably for Chambliss or Aguilar or whoever? Like, are we going to have guys declaring for the draft after 3 years of college, maybe have a bad draft process, or get drafted on day 3 and then get bounced and start bouncing around practice squads for 2 to 3 years and say, you know what, at the age of 26 or whatever, I want to go back and play another year of college football.
Well, because your quarterback is about to be 25 if this goes through correctly in Aguilar. I mean, you heard what John Summerall said about this, right? Reporters, I guess, were in front of John Summerall yesterday, the former Tulane coach, now Florida coach, and everybody around the world of college sports is being asked about these kind of situations. This is what John Summerall said. He apparently laid it out to reporters in a totally serious fashion while, understanding that it was a joke. We're going to file a temporary restraining order to bring back Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell is going on with all that. We'll see if Tebow gets his years back. It's just, how far is too far? Nothing is too far for the current landscape until they finally get legislative rulings to go in their favor as far as the governance and jurisdiction of who's in charge of what. And if some figurehead should at some point be voted in or, college football commissioner type thing. Pate's been joking about this for years, except it's not such a joke anymore because somebody needs to have some level of oversight, overreaching oversight on all of this. Tim Tebow is 2009 was his senior year. Let's see if we can get it done. Why not? It's just a little bit of paperwork. Roll the dice.
Like Chris Brazzell, Tennessee receiver Chris Brazzell, who's going into the draft process. Let's just say he interviews poorly or whatever, and he ends up going in the 5th round or something later than he would be anticipating, and then 2 years from now has played for 3 or 4 different practice squads, never got on a 53. Chris Brazzell would be a redshirt senior if he did not declare for the draft. He would have that eligibility for next year. What if he in 2 to 3 years just said, all right, let me go back and try this out and use that last year of eligibility I know I have in my back pocket because I redshirted that 2022 season. I mean, it's just crazy. I think about a defensive lineman at the age of 27 trying to do this, to go back and go up against 19-year-old left guards.
I'm all for
at
it.
the college football level. I
Make
mean,
your
it's
money.
crazy.
I mean, it's wrong, right? Like that's obviously an extreme, a 27-year-old defensive lineman against a 19-year-old guard or something like that. But I mean, I'm not going to fault the 27-year-old for trying to get the check.
No, I don't fault any of these people. I mean, Joey Aguilar is going to make so much more if he plays at Tennessee next year than he likely would make in his NFL career in totality. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I don't know. I don't think Joey Aguilar is exactly thought of as a guy that is going to crack a roster in the NFL.
I think that there's a common refrain that I see about this in terms of the discussion, that it's people treat it like it's the player's fault. It's not the player's fault. It's the system's fault. Okay? The system was literally unconstitutional for however many decades. Now there's been a massive overcorrection in the opposite way. It's not the player's fault. It is the system's fault. Coming up next, which quarterback in the Super Bowl can you trust more? Drake May, Sam Darnold. We'll talk about it. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
So there's a pretty big game coming up on Sunday. I'm sure you're making plans. Maybe you're going to a friend's house, having people over, or just watching it at home, the comfort of your own couch. There's nothing wrong with that. But you do need something to fuel your watch party, and what better in these freezing conditions than to warm up on your couch watching the game on Sunday with a big old bucket of Hattie B's hot chicken. You can step into any one of their Middle Tennessee locations for pickup or delivery at HattieB.com or the Hattie B's app. 1 or 2 buckets of that crispy fried chicken, hot or not, whatever works for you. Maybe a quart or 2 of those incredible sides, the crinkle cut fries, the pimento mac and cheese, the southern greens. You simply can't go wrong. Be the crowd pleaser at your watch party this coming Sunday. Maybe you're just looking for snacks, something to munch on. I have in my hand Hattie B's hot Nashville seasoned chicken skin crisps that you can buy at any Hattie B's location. Purchase this at the Charlotte location. Listen to that crunch. HattieB.com. It is 12:03. Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Lucas Panzica. As we approach Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, the first injury report of the week came out yesterday. Patriots quarterback Drake May listed as a full participant with a right shoulder designation. Meanwhile, edge rusher Harold Landry, the former Titan, limited with a knee. For Seattle, Sam Darnold was limited with an oblique injury, while rookie safety Nick Emenwari was limited after injuring his ankle during practice. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Super Bowl 60 is nearly upon us. We talked about our favorite moments in Super Bowl history, at least in our history. I'm sure maybe you have some ones that we didn't mention. But ahead of this Super Bowl, in a game that we've talked about doesn't necessarily have the hype that you might think a Super Bowl matchup usually does. We've talked about what the reasons for that are, and maybe it's just a decided lack of star power at the quarterback position, with the opportunity for one of these quarterbacks to etch their name into football history forever. It's final hour. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. Nate Washington will join us in about 16 minutes from now. You can join us too, 615-737-1045, F&M Bank Chat, where the live stream of the show exists, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can interact there. Sam Darnold, Drake May, a quarterback in his second year who's getting MVP consideration. We'll have NFL honors tonight. I think most of us think it's going to be Stafford for the MVP, but Drake May was second in terms of the odds, in terms of a lot of the voting. Versus Sam Darnold, one of the best examples of a quarterback reclamation project out there. A player who it seems like the biggest level of dialogue around Sam Darnold is, well, when's the moment when he's going to start seeing ghosts again? From that famous line when he was still the first-round pick of the Jets, playing against, ironically, the New England Patriots. Who is the quarterback that we trust most in this Super Bowl? I think you would have a very difficult time arguing up to this point that it's not Sam Darnold, which is a crazy thing for me to say into a microphone. Even understanding what the last, 2 years for Sam Darnold have been. He's been excellent. He's won all manner of regular season games. He's got his team in the Super Bowl basically because he put on one of the best performances, if not the best performance of the year for him, of his career for him, in the NFC Championship game to advance to the Super Bowl. I don't know how anybody could honestly make the case for Drake May.
Yeah, it has to be Darnold, even if that is a lingering question about this game. Darnold, through 2 games in the postseason, has completed 69.8% of his passes, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 5 sacks, while Drake May, understanding he has played 1 extra game, has completed 55.8% of his passes for 533 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He does have 141 rush yards with 1 touchdown in the postseason. But what Sam Darnold did in the NFC Championship against the Rams is more of a big game performance than we've seen at any point in Drake May's extremely young career. At no point in these playoffs has Drake May been asked to just go out there and lead his team to a win in terms of knockdown, drag out, back and forth, quarterback duel type of games. Patriots haven't gotten into one of those, and that's a credit to them. It has something to do with the quarterbacks they face, but it's also a credit to their defense. So it is hard not to say you trust Sam Darnold more. But people also seem to have a hard time blindly putting their faith and trust that Sam Darnold is the more trustworthy quarterback in the Super Bowl.
I want to see, because the Patriots' defenses, it's also fair to question why they have looked so much better. We asked Cosell about this 2 hours ago. Essentially, he said they've changed some of their tendencies. They're pressuring a lot more than they did during the regular season. They are doing a lot of this stuff to these quarterbacks beyond the unforced errors that you think C.J. Stroud may have, or, Jarrett Stidham did what he could, what little he could, right? It's just one of those things where it was never going to be a Jarrett Stidham performance, right? If you're the Broncos, you're hoping that he just does enough where the defense can win you the game, can keep you in the game, and just do your job well enough, Stidham. No better, no worse. Just go along for the ride, and we'll give ourselves the best opportunity to succeed. That obviously wasn't what happened. His coach's miscues in the first half led to just an impossible situation for them in the second half with the weather and how much that devolved. If you were winning in the third quarter, right, of the AFC Championship game, you were going to win that game. Nobody was going to win that game in the fourth quarter given what it ended up turning into. Now, I would argue that he's gotten in quarterback, knockdown, drag-out quarterback battle in every game that he's played. It's just the other guy has been appreciably worse, and he's not necessarily doing it the conventional way, right? He's doing it a lot with his legs.
May?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's scrambling.
It's gutty, it's gritty, it's dirty, it's all these different things. It's low scoring. It's all right, just wait around and we'll get another turnover for you.
He's had multiple scrambles of 25-plus yards in the playoffs.
So I'm saying he's done it, but he's just doing it differently than what Sam Darnold's done. And what is sustainable? The low-scoring, defensive, knockdown, drag-out game that the Patriots want to play, or Seattle just bludgeoning you in every phase of the game.
Yeah, the Seahawks path, it is interesting. You have just an absolute demolishing of San Francisco and then a back-and-forth shootout over L.A., two divisional opponents that you know like the back of your hand that you've already seen twice. It's kind of insane to play two teams out of your division 3 times in the same season, but that's what Seattle has done. And now they go up against a Patriots team. I don't know the last time the Patriots and Seahawks faced off against each other, but certainly the first time they've seen each other in this phase
Good question.
of where each respective franchise is. So that's an interesting component to this.
I remember like a Mac Jones versus the Seahawks game a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, to Greg Cosell's point, he believes this will be a defensive, grueling type of game. Patriots defense has been impressive in the playoffs, but nobody's questioning the Seahawks are the more well-rounded football team, right? In all 3 phases.
The last time the Seahawks and the Patriots played was in 2024. It was an overtime game in which the Seahawks won 23-20 in Week 2 of the 2024 NFL
Who was
season.
quarterbacking the Patriots? 2024?
What are your guesses?
It would have been Drake, right?
Not Drake.
No, he didn't start the season. Not Week 2. Who the hell was the quarterback for them?
Not Milton.
Not Milton.
This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that's right.
He was 15 of 27 for 149 yards and a touchdown. Geno Smith on the other side of the field, 33 of 43 for 327 yards and a touchdown.
Peak Geno.
Also, an all-time game for Antonio Gibson, 11 carries, 96 yards for the Patriots. Hunter Henry, holy crap. God, this must have been a great game. DK Metcalf, 10 catches for 129. Hunter Henry
23-20 overtime, that means it's grueling at some point, right?
Hunter Henry, 8 catches for 109 yards. So 109 of Jacoby Brissett's 149 yards went to Hunter Henry. 40 other yards went to other receivers.
Mike McDonald's second game as the coach of the Seahawks.
And it was on the road, too.
A win. He's so much, it's crazy how much better he was on the road in his rookie season as a coach than they ended up being at home, given what we all think to be Seattle's home field advantage, or what it's always been. 12th man is famous at this point in time. So we'll ask some of these questions to Nate Washington. We'll think what he makes of the matchup. We will do all of those things coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Nate Washington. Man, I'm kind of sad. It's our final visit with Nate Washington of the football season. I mean, it's the final game of the football season, final week of the football season. It's not like Nate's never going to be on the show again or something like that. But you've been riding with us every Thursday throughout the course of the football season, Nate. We're very grateful for. What's the worst question we've asked you at any point? What is the thing that we have embarrassed ourselves on the most when speaking to somebody as respected a football mind as the great Nate Washington, Titans and Steelers legend?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to you, Book, and the show. I think this has been an amazing experience for me and an opportunity. So I really appreciate what you guys provided for me as well this season. So it's been great. As far as that, I don't think there's been a bad question, bro. You know, I think
that's not
there's
true.
Been a lot
That's
of.
That's the first lie you've ever told in your life. It's the first lie that Nate Washington has ever told in his life.
No, if anything, I think it was just more so the context of what we had to discuss. You know, the firing of Callahan, the situation before firing him. I think those things were more so appalling than any of the questions that I received. But it's definitely been a dope experience, man. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. We look forward to having you back next football season if your schedule allows for it. I do. Before we talk about Super Bowl and you know the quarterbacks and all these different things, did you have your book signing this past week since we've last talked to you?
Yes, it was absolutely amazing, Buck. You know, I was kind of leery of the weather. I know school had been canceled a couple times throughout the week prior to the signing, but, you know, we got up there. I was able to hit a couple of the news stations and do a couple of interviews. And Saturday, when it was time for everyone to show up, they definitely showed up. We had about 70 people there through the bad, inclement weather that came out, supported. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of faces that, you know, may not have been mentioned in the book per se, but definitely were adamant and pinnacles of the journey that I went through of supporting me and being there for me and my mom throughout that journey. So it was a heartwarming moment, you know, an opportunity, I think, for me to speak on a much deeper level than a lot of people heard me speak on. And I think they were definitely not only impressed, but also encouraged to read the book and also to continue through their own personal journey. So a lot of things went well, man. I actually went better than I expected, you know, and I think I'm expecting and we're getting ready for Nashville to do some great things and some other things that me and Keith Bullock been building on. But I just am excited about the opportunity to build on what we already have created.
The book, of course, is Football Was My Father. You can get it in the Amazon bookstore. Let's help make Nate Washington. He doesn't need our help, but we can contribute a little bit to make Nate Washington a best-selling author as he does his book signings. At Bullock, by the way, building a little bit of a media empire over there. I see KB. Trying to, you know, I mean, it's the thing that people like me fear the most is the people who are actually smart about football coming for all of the microphones and weeding people like me out. But it's so cool to see how great and how in depth the conversations are, Nate. And one final thing on the book signing and the experience of writing the book, like for you to be able to relive all these different moments, to visit again with the people, as you mentioned, who were pivotal in your journey and your mom and your family and all these different things that have come to pass that were the inspiration of the book. I mean, I have to imagine that's a very emotional experience, both highs and lows, to kind of relive a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely. I shed a few tears definitely during the interview session of the book signing Saturday. You know, it was just one of those moments where you actually look up and a lot of the stories that you're telling, people in the crowd can relate to because they may have been there, you know. So it was definitely a reflection on the time. I'm very humbled by my journey, and I often don't talk about it very much, but in the moment that I am talking about it and there's people in the room that added to that journey, it definitely made me emotional. Me and my mother shed a few tears on Saturday.
At NWash85 is where you can follow Nate Washington, who joins us his final Thursday of the football season, because it is the final Thursday of the football season.
Cool to see your hometown showing up too, Nate, out there in Toledo. There's a lot of Toledo representation on this show. We got Brett Kern, who played college football there, coming in. I have an attachment to Toledo, Ohio. I find myself there a lot, so it was really cool to see your hometown show out.
Yeah, man. I think Toledo, Ohio is one of those places that obviously we're a small city, but I think, the more and more time goes by, I think a lot of people have an understanding that we have a lot of, notable, not only names that have come out of the city, but I think even when you're looking in the movies and TV shows, there's a lot of reference to Toledo, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful to be from such a humbling place. I'm grateful to have the community that I had growing up. I think it built a great foundation for me as the man that I continue to grow to be. So it's one of those things, man. We're not the Miamis or the Nashvilles, the big cities, the metropolitan areas, but I'm definitely proud to be from Toledo, Ohio.
Some pretty big football names from Toledo, Ohio, including Jim and John Harbaugh, Nate Washington included in that list as well. So I don't want to create any controversy here, Nate, but you do proudly represent both the Steelers and the Titans who you played for. You are outspoken in rooting for these teams and wanting them to have success. Now, Tom Brady has come out, and he has said he doesn't have a dog in the fight in Super Bowl 60, despite his New England Patriots playing the Seattle Seahawks. Former and current Patriots players are not terribly happy with Tom about it. So I don't want to create controversy, but do you, Nate Washington, as someone that spent a few months in New England on the back end of your career, do you have a rooting interest in Super Bowl 60 on Sunday?
Well, I don't have necessarily a rooting interest. I just want to see a great game. In all honesty, I know we'll probably dive a little bit more into that, but I expect the Seahawks to win this game, to be honest. But in reference to your statement, I think Tom is in a tough position. I know that this is a guy where, he wears his heart on his sleeve when it comes towards his game. He understands how much it's impacted his life, and it means everything to him. But I think he also takes the same approach in regular life, and him becoming a business model of the Raiders right now, I think he's more so speaking on the business aspect that he's in with the Raiders ties. And I think, as a former athlete, as a former teammate of a lot of guys that we play, in the trenches with, I can understand the feeling slighted by his teammates, and the other supporting cast of the New England Patriots that he was once a part of. This is always a brotherhood. I think about the guys that I'm around now, and a lot of the guys that I associate with now are either guys that I played with in the league or I play against in the league, and it's very few of childhood friends, So when you think about those type of things and those memories that you build with those guys, and to hear one of your main leaders come out and say he doesn't have a dog in the fight, I feel like, you may feel slighted, so I understand it. I understand both sides. I think Tom is just in the moment type of personality. Whatever he's doing at the moment, he's going to give his all. And I think right now his focus is just the Raiders, and I think, he may have put his experience of playing ball on the back burner when it comes to this specific situation. But, as a fan of the game, it's unfortunate to hear him speak that way, because obviously you always want a guy to ride with his squad, but I understand the business side as well.
Yeah, and, I think he's probably a little more, Lucas brought this up earlier, a little more sensitive to it just because of his entanglement between the broadcasting and the Raiders ownership and all these different things. So I think he's trying to play it a little more political than certainly the city of Boston.
Or Vrabel put him up to it, which Robert suggested during the break to kind of fire up his team a little bit.
Yeah, Vrabel slid him $100 bill, be like, why don't you just kind of say you maybe you don't have to say you don't believe in us, but maybe just kind of distance yourself. Let the boys get some of the
bulletin board material.
Yeah, a little bulletin board material.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
What do you make of him in the middle of all this, Nate? Before we talk about the matchup, Mike Vrabel, given your rooting interest in the Tennessee Titans, what he's now doing in New England, the organization's decision ultimately to move on from Vrabel. I guess we've never really asked you as a Titans fan what you think about the entire thing from start to finish, and now seeing that the journey, we'll see how it ends in the Super Bowl. They're obviously underdogs, but how do you kind of view all of that storyline as a Titans fan?
Man, well, for me personally, Buck, I refer back to my first experience with Vrabel, and that was when I was my last year in Houston, when I played for the Texans. He was our linebacker coach there. And Vrabel, especially, there was a time where we had a young Jadeveon Clowney. And, man, the personal conversations me and Vrabel us two alone would have prior to practice, and him just alluding to my leadership and my approach to the game at the time, and wanted me to continue to be an impact in the young guys' life that were on the team, specifically Jadeveon Clowney. Vrabel would always tell me, Nate, stay in his ear. He needs you, because he understood that it was only so much as a coach and even as a former player that he can present to those current guys. You need leaders that are still in the pads with the guys that are going out in trenches and doing the same things those players are doing to try to get this team to win, So I think from day one, Vrabel always showed me that he got it. It wasn't just about him. It wasn't just about his ego. He was a football guy. Whatever needed to be done to win, he was going to do. It didn't come down to just the physical aspect of the game, but also knowing, when to call a timeout, when to use the rules against certain refs and other teams. Those things matter. And I think he understood those things coming under the Bill Belichick tree. I think that was something that he grasped very much at a younger age, and he's continued it throughout his coaching career. Unfortunately, when you look at the Titans and the situation that he got in here, I think you've seen him turn this franchise around and give this franchise an opportunity to play deep within the playoffs, and needed time to try to get to that ultimate goal of a Lombardi, but wasn't given that time. And then you see him take a year off, and then you see in the position that he's in now. And I think all in all, you just see a football guy, a guy that gets it. It's not about scheme. It's not about X and O's. It's about the mentality and the approach to the game. And I think Vrabel is one of those rare guys that just gets it. He understands how to relate to the players and also understands the impact that it's going to be to put those guys in a position to make plays. So I'm very happy for Vrabel personally. I know there's a lot of fans or front office personnel that might hold grudges to him being he's not attached to the Titans at this moment. But all in all, I think Vrabel's a great guy, and it couldn't happen to a better person in this moment.
You use the word rare. It invokes a conversation that we were having on the show earlier in the week, the idea of finding a coach who not just gets it, right, Nate, but actually has the ability in game to impact things. Vrabel has a lot of this where he's manipulating rules or being judicious with timeouts and substitutions to kind of play into advantages for his team. There's not a lot of coaches who do have that in-game advantage. And we were having the conversation amongst ourselves that it may be more difficult to find a coach like that than it would be a franchise quarterback in the definition of, like Tannehill being a franchise quarterback or Jimmy Garoppolo being a franchise quarterback. Not like one of these Tom Brady's all-time greats guys, but I wonder, as a player, having experience on both sides and obviously as a former receiver, what was it more difficult to find on a team, a coach who can give you that not just get it factor, but in-game advantage versus a quarterback that you can make something work with?
I think, when you're talking about the talent of the player itself, I think you get what you get, right? You know what you're drafting, and everybody's not capable of doing everything the next player is able to do. So I think those things are really kind of null and void. You can't really control what a guy is going to be able to do. You just have to draft what you think is possible and go from there. Now, when you're talking about the coach itself, I think that's where the difficult position comes in, because as I stated before on the show, you get a lot of scheme coaches that come in and they are so fixated on their scheme that they don't understand the talent that they have in the locker room is not fit to match that scheme, right? So you want a coach that understands how to utilize each player, not just to plug and play a guy into a scheme and hope that he's able to accomplish whatever objective you're giving him, but giving him the opportunity to be free to be himself and you devising whatever scheme he's best at. I think those type of coaches, which is a guy like Vrabel, in all honesty, are rare. You get guys that go into seasons with ideas of how they want to approach the season, but especially when you're dealing with the draft, if your guy gets picked that you will have an idea on drafting, your backup guy on that draft board may not be the same type of talent. So you have to be understanding of that. You have to be a guy that's willing to go out and play your best talent in the best scheme that's possible for them. I think I reflect on my personal experience. A lot of my career in itself was always, you get to 16, you break down, you come out. You get to 12 for an in cut, you get to 12 yards, you cut in. And when I got to Coach O'Brien in Houston, Texas, it wasn't like that. It literally was, hey, you got an in cut, but I don't care if it's at 16. If you're open at 12, you go in. Like, you take it, like, because you have an ability to separate at the top of your routes, and I don't want guys studying your depths. And I think coaches like that just get the game. They give their players the best opportunity to go out and be successful individually. Well, I obviously help that team.
Nate Washington here with us at NWash85 is where you follow along.
Nate, you said you're leaning Seattle in this game. How much of that comes down to the quarterback matchup for you and what Sam Darnold has shown in this postseason?
A huge situation, Lucas, with the quarterback matchup. You know, I think Drake May is a huge playmaker. I think he's shown us the ability not only to withstand drives with his playmaking ability, but to fight till the end of the game. You know, some great fourth quarter games from Drake May and those type of things. But when I think about the foundation of a quarterback position, you know, Sam is everything that you would hope for. He has the ability to make the plays with his arm. He has the IQ. He understands the speed of the game. You know, I think he's been through enough throughout his career to understand the ups and the downs, and he kind of has the experience, you know, of the stage. You know, I think he made a joke about with the reporter for this week when they asked him how did it feel to be in his first time in the Super Bowl, and he had to remind them that he was there with the San Francisco 49ers a few years back. So I think although he didn't play in a big game, I think the experience in itself will help him being in this situation outside of what Drake May is facing. The Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, are just foundationally set up. You know, as long as they're fundamentally sound, I think they're just set up to be successful. An outstanding hats on fire type of defense that flies to the ball with a sustainable run game on the offensive side and some playmakers in the pass game with a QB with a great IQ to not do too much but take exactly what the defense gives them. So I think foundationally they're just set up better than New England has set up. You know, I think both sides of the ball of New England has been kind of up and down. You look at the run game of the New England Patriots, they had their good moments, they had their bad moments. They've turned the ball over quite a bit throughout this season, but you've had some amazing moments with Henderson and the backup in that situation. And as I stated, you know, Drake May has played some outstanding ball. It's just about the stage and his willingness to handle that spotlight. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think we'll have a great game on our hands, but I think the Seahawks will pull it out in the end.
Buddy, we are incredibly grateful to have you as a friend and much less for you to lend us your talents on a weekly basis, and happy to give you back some of your Thursday afternoons. So the audience as well has really enjoyed your visits, and obviously we'll talk to you after this, but we hope you'll keep us updated on anything you got going on in the city. If you happen to be in town, we'd love to have you in sometime.
No doubt, but man, I appreciate you and Lucas. You guys have been awesome the whole season. I appreciate the laughs, the intellect. You know, I think everything has been great. So I would love to get this started back next season, and we keep going, man. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys later.
Say less. Nate Washington. Thanks, Nate. With us on 104.5 The Zone. No, he didn't mention you. He said me and Lucas. He didn't mention you at all.
No, I love you, Nate.
No, he didn't mention you at all. He doesn't think about you at all.
He said the laughs.
He didn't hear you, buddy.
He said the laughs.
Yeah, that's true. So that doesn't come from it. That only comes from Robert.
I assumed it would be me.
Well, we make people laugh with things like, you know, M&Ms and weird noises and forgetting to turn our microphones off and not listening to one another, or just general yelling, but not on purpose. So, Nate and his perspective as a player on the coach versus the quarterback conversation. It does feel like, and I can't remember what your opinion was on this, either of you, but it feels like it's tougher to find the qualities that you need in a coach to make them special versus, not that it's easy to find, by definition, a franchise quarterback. I think it's just people have to be willing to adapt what they define a franchise quarterback as.
Yeah, but I think also the way you framed it, you laid out two very different things. You said, what's harder to find? A head coach that puts you in a position to win, that is an advantage game in and game out, or a quarterback that you can work with?
Yeah, you're right.
Like those are two very...
I did categorize it.
Like we're talking about, if we're going to put it on the same level, a quarterback you can win with, you can lean on, that can lead you, like the Joe Burrow thing. The window is their career.
Discount
kind of
it that way.
There's plenty of quarterbacks you can work with.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, there are plenty of quarterbacks that you can work with. How many coaches can inhibit you as much as they help push you forward? But I could have asked the question better, to your point.
But how many of those quarterbacks that you can work with get to and win Super Bowls. A few.
Get to.
Yeah.
Win, different, right? Like, in the biggest game of the year, you want your game-changing guy to make a game-changing play that may not necessarily be in the structure of the offense, right? Like, that's the difference between Mahomes and Jimmy G in the game. There was routine throws, maybe 2, that essentially cost the Niners the Super Bowl that Garoppolo just couldn't make, and Pat was special.
Exactly. Is Jimmy the worst, let's just say in the last 10 years, worst quarterback to reach a Super Bowl?
In the last 10 years? I don't know. It depends on how much you look at Garoppolo's career next to Foles, because Foles was not. I mean, what Foles did is spectacular in that Super Bowl. I mean, in that postseason the whole way through, but in the Super Bowl specifically. But he was never anything close to that ever again. Well, actually, I don't know. His rookie year with Chip Kelly.
Early on, he was good under.
Before, like 8 touchdown passes against the Raiders or something.
Before everybody
ridiculous.
figured out the Chip Kelly offense in Philly, Nick Foles was a solid player.
Maybe, God, this is kind of blasphemous to even mention his name in worst quarterback, but the worst quarterbacked game in the last 10 years is the Pat Mahomes no offensive line game.
Oh, the Bucks?
Yeah, yes, where they his offensive line was mutilated, like so many injuries. He was running for his life. I think he was playing hurt in that game.
He was, and he had that ridiculous pass. Like, he was almost completely horizontal, or rather parallel to the ground in the way, the angle that ball came out. He hit like a running back in the face with the pass that just got dropped.
There's one that Tyreek dropped. Like Mahomes was still superhuman that game, but he was drowning.
I don't know, man. 26 of 49 for 270 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 sacks, a 52.3% quarterback rating.
But I came away from that, and I haven't seen it, obviously, since the game. Like, I haven't rewatched that COVID Super Bowl for any particular reason. But I don't remember coming away from that game with strong feelings of, Pat was bad.
No, yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Right.
But, like, he still played a game. It's still the circumstances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Brady was lights out that game, 21 of 29 for 201 and 3 touchdowns. God, just like they couldn't even get to him. 1 sack for 6 yards.
So good. And that's like good Chiefs defense, healthy, young Chiefs defense.
The Goff Rams' offensive performance as a whole was pretty rough in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. 3
but
points.
The Pats were not good, too.
No, it was a horrible Super Bowl.
Like, Gronk catches that one, 24 or 25-yarder that ends up at... Did Gronk score a touchdown on that play, or did, James White run it in? I don't think... Did anybody throw a passing touchdown in that game?
13-3.
Yeah, it was awful. It was a terrible game.
It was a Sony Michel run for the touchdown.
Sony Michel.
Retired on top.
Do you guys ever watch Super Bowls back? I need to do that more. Like, I've got key moment memories, but I don't know. I feel like it's fun to watch those things back. I'll watch old games if they're on NFL Network.
It's a great thing to go to sleep to. Like, if you're like, I just want to put something on the background.
See, that's Mad Men for me right now.
Don't make me.
So good.
I started a rewatch with Cheyenne, and I was like, I can't get into this.
It makes me want to smoke cigarettes all the time.
Please don't even mention it, dude. I'm doing so good right now. I bummed one off Crystal this morning, but I haven't been smoking them regularly.
You bummed one off Mike before we all left for work yesterday.
1 cigarette a day, I would venture to say, I'm not a doctor, but I would say that it's good for you. You know, it's just like the treadmill. The treadmill is...
A little conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting your lungs used to it. And God knows I'm going to need it for Combine, because am I just not going to smoke cigarettes with Kirby?
No, speaking of... No, I smoke sober cigarettes with Kirby at Combine. It's the worst thing. Combine is just bad for your health. Speaking of Combine being bad for your health, there's a situation that we need to address with Robert coming up next. I said we have an issue to address with Robert in our pre-combine preparations. The accommodations are booked. I'm even going to take the three of you to an Indiana basketball game, which you have threatened to wear Northwestern gear. That's their opponent at Assembly Hall that night. I will leave you somewhere in Bloomington if you dare.
I have Northwestern gear in my eBay cart right now.
Well, you have purple everything anyway.
Oh, that's true, but adorning the purple and black, the blacked out K-State. Come on.
What do they say?
K-State.
I mean, dadgummit. You know what I mean.
They're both Wildcats, right? Northwestern Wildcats?
Northwestern is the Wildcats.
What do they say up there? What's their, like,
Go Cats?
little saying?
It's Kentucky, probably. Go Cats. C-A-Y-U-T.
So what am I in trouble for? What you've made me
No, you're
sweat this
pre in
out.
trouble for. You're pre in trouble for this because it's not the cigarette smoking that I'm not going to be able to tolerate because I've done these with Kirby for, 6 years at this point in time. That's not going to bother me. What is concerning to me is that we are all staying in the same location, separate rooms, thank God.
That's what you think. I sleep with you. I think I sleep right here.
You wake up. Yeah,
if you dare.
Good morning.
Sleep with one eye open.
Good morning, beautiful. How was your night?
We're going to need to plant cameras in the kitchen of the Airbnb in case Robert sleep eats.
My sleep eating.
If you sleep eat anything in the Airbnb that belongs to or that I have purchased.
Dude.
Is it like a stepbrothers? Like, do you like...
I don't know I'm doing it.
So it's never been documented?
No. Cheyenne's never... Well, Cheyenne sleeps like a rock anyway, so she doesn't wake up for it. But, like, many times I've eaten her lunch for the next day. I've eaten her leftovers. I've eaten something that I don't even like when I'm awake that she loves.
Are there limits to it? Like, will you... Like,
no.
The stepbrothers thing where he, like... Where they're... Remember they're sleepwalking through the house and...
Puts the pillows in the oven. And,
where he opens the coffee grounds and just dumps it on his face.
That's what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating being just righteously hungover after a 5 a.m. trip to Prime 47 in which Robert has harassed, probably sexually, John Harbaugh or somebody like that at the bar. And I'm envisioning waking up desperately in need of coffee because we will have to be doing some kind of podium availability 2 hours from the time that we got home, going to make a thing of coffee, and there just being coffee beans, whole coffee beans, strewn about the Airbnb. Like, I'm going to put a cigarette out on you.
And then as soon as I smile, you just see the remnants of the ground still in my mouth.
Like cockroaches.
No, I can't. I want to say right now.
This will be the last trip you ever go on with me if you sleep eat something in a disgusting manner.
I cannot help it.
I don't care.
I can't help it.
Figure it out.
We're going to have to chain me down like the ghost of Christmas past.
I'll buy a bike lock.
Because the problem is, one, I will not sleep naked because I don't want to offend you guys, and I will be sleeping next to Buck, so I don't want to roll over and have a what's that on my leg moment.
And there's no circumstance. Oh, please.
But
I
then
can't even find it.
What I'm worried about is me getting up in the middle of the night in my underwear and just walking into the kitchen, drinking out of the gallon of milk, and you guys just have to see me in my natural state. And I don't know if you guys are ready for that for 5 days, but it's something you're going to have to accept now. There's no going back.
Gile with a hangover reference in the FNM Bank chat. There's a tiger in the bathroom.
It's just me with stripes. I feel great.
No clothing whatsoever. Just whole ass tiger body paint on your naked body.
I think there wasn't there a monkey loose from the Indy Zoo?
There's a chimp
a few months ago.
There's a chimpanzee.
Oh my! And we'll already have Kirby, dude. Let's catch it. First guest on the show, we'd like to welcome the chimpanzee that escaped the zoo.
Get your face mauled.
Kirby would have a plan if we were in Indy.
Kirby
when that
would have
happened.
a trank dart.
Ari Myrov reports that, he's just reporting what Mike McDonald said, but that Nick Emenwari, the standout rookie safety for the Seahawks, suffered a low ankle sprain yesterday, and he fully expects him to play Sunday.
Okay.
So shoot him up and roll him out there.
I mean, it's the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be seeing sounds and hearing colors, dude. Give me that Toradol, baby.
That's fine. As long as it's the right colors being, dropped as far as the confetti goes from the ceiling of the Super Bowl. Well, how do they do that if it's not an enclosed space? Just shoot it off?
Oh, they'll have cannons.
Did I ever show you guys the video? Maybe you guys have seen this at other sporting events. The damn T-shirt artillery weapon that the Arizona Cardinals have. It's a Gatling gun. It's a ridiculous contraption, and it is highly effective. I want one.
What would you do with that?
Shoot you.
Through the glass? You think that you would
I think I'd have a pretty good shot at getting through the glass with that thing. I think that's got some horsepower behind it.
You would need it positioned behind me in here, so you could just boom.
Be like that one Vanderbilt fan that called in threatening to shoot a Vols fan if he saw him in the street.
That guy was just, he was like, oh, they forgot. No one was going to ever bring that up again.
Whoops.
He's still on the run. Like they're trying to find him.
I forgot to do polls.
Huh?
I know. If I had done the polls.
Two Rivers Ford.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
The South's most trusted Ford dealer. All right. Very good.
No. We still got time.
What do you want to talk about?
What is the number one thing that because we've talked about this about this is my Disney World.
Yeah, I know.
So what are the things that we have to do while we're in Indy?
Well, we have to go to the Starbucks where Jordan Schultz threatened to fight Ian Rappaport and take family photos.
Yes.
We have to go to the cigar bar with Tehran. That's always a highlight.
I'm cool with that.
Of the trip. Burn by Rocky Patel, I think is the name of the cigar bar, right off Monument Circle.
I would like to recreate Chris Jones's 40-yard dash.
We can.
Do you guys remember what happened?
Into the stadium. I don't think we can get you on the field.
Well, Thursday we'll do that then when we won't have to be there again.
Well, we could just set up a 40 for you to run in the combine media pen.
Well, you should look up Chris Jones's 40 time.
Are you sure you're not talking about Terrence Cody?
No.
With them things flopping all over the place?
I wasn't talking about them things. I was talking about his lower them things. Because if you remember, his testicles popped out of the bottom of his...
No, I don't remember.
We'll look it up. You can see them.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
I think we could do that cut for cut, shot for shot. Kirby's as the cameraman, and me running the 40.
Nobody wants to see your nuts. I'm scared I'm going to see him at this Airbnb.
You will. It's not a matter of... when it's how.
I will leave you in Indy. I will leave your ass in Indy so fast, especially when you're drunk and cross-eyed and trying to smoke a cigarette out of your nose. That is when I will abandon you.
I will be excited for that moment. Can't wait. Bart Scott.
That's going to do it for us today, mercifully. One more show of the football season to do. We will do prime time tonight with me and Robert. I'm sure we'll figure out something Titans related to talk about because we didn't do anything today. See you then.